thanks for what you do with your podcast and all the rest. You're doing a great job. Hope everybody keeps tuning in. You get a lot of good info, a lot of insights, understandings of how to get strong, how to stay strong, how to use your strength.
You do a great job, dude. You make things better than they are in real life, I think.
If you don't follow Massenomics, y'all do it. Social media, website, everything.
Massenomics.
Here we are for episode 330 of the Massenomics podcast, the lifting podcast about nothing. My name is Tanner.
And my name is Tommy. This podcast's going to be bussing for real. No cap, Tanner.
No cap. We're locked and are you locked and loaded over there?
I'm locked and loaded over here.
I am. I don't know about you, but I'm ready to bring the heat, as they say in the biz.
Yeah.
We're going to bring the heat. We've got a lot of catching up to do to catch up to this pen podcast that I just learned about. What's
we're falling behind to the pen addict.
An even more obscure podcast with even more episodes than us.
Uh-huh.
But does he pump out multiple episodes a week?
I don't know. I'm actually not sure.
Or
I think they've been at it a very long time.
Okay.
I think, yeah.
Longer than us, though?
Yeah, I think they've been making podcasts since like the early teens, if not.
No, I don't believe it. Nobody's been doing it for longer than us.
Maybe one or
that
two
sounds
people.
fake.
Yeah.
I don't think there were podcasts before we started.
Very few.
Isn't it funny, though, when we did start, it was even like the thought of like, oh, wish we would have started this a few years earlier.
Yeah, then it was, oh man, everyone kind of has a podcast now. Well, that has really changed. No one made memes about everyone having podcasts in what, 2015 or 2016, whatever it was.
Like back then, I didn't actually really personally know many people else that had a podcast.
No, I didn't know anyone that had a podcast. I knew way more people that didn't listen to podcasts than did.
Yeah.
That number is changed. Now it's kind of weird if you talk to someone and they say, if they're under the age of 40 and they said, I've never listened to a podcast, I kind of think like, what do you do?
I think I think I know more people now that have had or have their own podcast than I knew people that listened to podcasts when we started.
It's kind of hard to follow that, but I do get what you're saying.
Does that make sense?
And you might be right there.
Does that make sense what I said?
Yeah.
Okay.
I still don't know that many people personally.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people personally that have said, hey, what do I got to do to start one?
Yeah.
I don't know personally a ton of people that have actually started one though.
True. It is more of a thing you say than is true.
Oh, for sure. For sure.
No bussin' cap.
No cap.
So check out the Pen Addicts podcast and also check out Juggernaut AI. Come with me for this ad if you want to lift. I need your clothes, your boots, and your individual weak points on the major lifts. Juggernaut AI, we both use it. We're actually going to talk about this probably more than just once today.
Yeah.
All things considered with our guest and everything else. But
I was going to say this ad isn't sponsored, but it actually is sponsored by them. But yeah,
some of the stuff later won't be a sponsored ad. It'll just be, natural organic conversation about Juggernaut AI.
Praise.
Right. But
spoiler alert.
We do both use it. We'll talk more about that later. And we're going to talk about some of our personal pros and cons, but some stuff that, you just can't beat is the volume, frequency, and exercise for weak points, phase potentiation, and periodization strategy. All are customizable specifically to you and your needs to get you stronger. You can pick whenever you want that testing date or your meet date out in advance, 6 months in advance, and then train through different blocks leading up to that, hypertrophy, strength blocks, and get you all the way through your peaking. The training is continually adapting to your feedback that you're inputting into the app, and changes happen as quickly as your next set on each training day. Find out more and get signed up. To get signed up, go to their website. We need you to go to the website for Juggernaut AI app when you sign up, because that's how you can use the discount code Massenomics. The discount code is Massenomics, Massenomics, and that'll save you 10% as long as you sign up through the website. Reason being for that is, of course, we've talked about this with other people on apps. If you sign up on an app through an app, Apple is going to take part of that. You sign up through the website, more money to go around for the creator of it and for people like us that are helping promote it.
Exactly.
So screw Apple. Go Juggernaut and Massenomics. And that discount code is Massenomics. It'll save you 10% on the lifetime. We will be back next week with another Juggernaut AI ad read. And also this week, I wanted to tell you about Spud Inc. Spud-Inc-Straps.com. I want to talk to you about the bow tie. What's the bow tie? Well, do you have shoulder pain, Tommy? Well, let's pretend you do.
I'm just imagining
Okay.
shoulder pain right now.
Does it hurt?
Oh,
Okay.
it's just killing me. I can't bench. I can't squat.
Well, Spud Inc. can fix it. They teamed up with Donnie Thompson to create the bow tie. So no matter if you're a lifter wanting to prevent pain and injury, or a desk worker like me who's tired of coming home in pain after a long day with the boss crawling up your ass.
Oh, does it bow tie for your butt? Is this?
What can't the bow tie do?
It does it all.
Yeah. Get bow tied. So they have a few different options: the formal, the casual, both only $60. They also have a limited edition yellow that looks like it's only $20 right now in certain sizes.
I wanted to get the yellow one, but it wasn't available in my size. So.
If it's available in your size, that's a steal, actually.
Yeah, and it's yellow.
Yes.
Which is pretty cool.
I like the formal. I have the formal.
I have the formal as well.
Yes. So that's my recommendation. That's when multiple people have asked me before, and I've always referred them to the formal.
If you're going to do it, you just do it, right?
That's what I think. And if you order $75 or more at Spud-Inc-Straps, you can actually get free shipping. So thank you, Spud Inc.
Thank you.
Yes.
I have a question. I thought I saw in the Discord, because we have multiple ways of talking to each other on the phone, through text messaging, at the gym. But my favorite way is eavesdropping in the Discord. What you say
through messages of each other through the Discord.
Just eavesdropping through other conversations.
We don't really talk directly to each other in the Discord ever, though.
No, I don't actually if we ever have.
That would be the least possible.
Other than tagging, hey, maybe Tanner has.
Yeah, out of all of our methods of being able to communicate with each other, that would probably be our least.
That is really funny to think about. That
least efficient, certainly the least private.
Yeah, I mean, unless we're just going to DM each other, but then there's just another spot to have DMs and messages. So, yeah, not a lot of private Massenomics information between us going on in the Discord. But I did pick up. Did you watch the rehearsal this past weekend?
Yes.
So what did you think?
First of all, I really like it because I love. I think Nathan Fielder is just. It's just really. It resonates with me really well. I could see how some people would not think that this is funny.
Yeah, I can too, but
my comments on it, it is so over the top, Nathan Fielder.
Isn't it though?
To where I'm like, holy shit, this is absolutely ridiculous. So the first episode I think is awesome, and I love the whole premise of it, and it is just ridiculous turn after ridiculous turn.
The budget he had to have to make that happen is.
It is wild.
And the way they're editing it, it's just making it seem even more just over the top. The way they're layering all that stuff. It's so
elaborate to put out one 40-minute episode of television. Yes. It is so elaborate.
Even if you don't think it's funny, you have to appreciate that. The elaborateness of it.
The theme of episode 2 and where that's going, I don't think is as good as the episode 1 theme. To me, I don't... It's not as good to me, I guess, is what I would say. I don't know how to elaborate on that.
What I'm curious here is because they are setting up episode 2 to be a multi-part thing. I'm not sure if it's going to be a 2 or 3 or more, but the thing that could be very funny is that he really knows how to put people in very awkward situations.
Yes.
And so him being around multiple episodes could really amplify that.
And my one other additional thought as I was watching these is this show, of course, hinges on Nathan and how awkward he is and what he does, but this show relies on they find the weirdest people. Dude, if it was granted you or I don't work because we know him.
Yeah.
But you find someone that's just like a normal person, this show doesn't work. Episode 1, you do that with a normal regular dude.
But I still
because I would be like, if they made this elaborate whole ruse of a fictitious set that's an exact replica, I would walk in and be like, and if I didn't realize this is just a really silly show, I'd be like, you guys are insane. I would realize it at that point in time. I'm like, this is literally insanity. Why are you doing this?
The only thing I can think of is part of the the movie magic, the cameras is
That
I believe when there's a camera and cast around,
they get wrapped up.
Is that it makes people think like, oh, maybe I'm a part of something bigger here, and they go along with it more.
Right.
That has to be some element to it.
That makes sense.
You know, just like because the whole Nathan For You TV show was so much of like, really, people are saying yes to this, and I think it's but you're on a TV show, and like, we came here.
I guess it's maybe going to help my business or something. And so on the original TV show, some of the people weren't quite as weird, but so far in this new show, he's really succeeding in getting people that are.
But the common thread
really
is,
odd.
The common thread is he puts out ads for people on Craigslist, and he
Yeah.
always has, and he still does.
Well,
And-
exactly. Who are you finding on?
The people that browse these ads on Craigslist? Like, I don't know anyone that browses. It's not even like people looking to buy something. It's people in whatever that classified section is.
Right.
I don't know anyone that browses that section, so it's a different type of person there as well.
It was so ridiculous. Like some of the stuff, just blowing my mind. How like when he walked into that guy's house for the first time, and he's like, "Oh, it's like a labyrinth of doors over here," and then they show him like he rehearsed
Doing
that
the same
so-
exact thing.
Yeah. I really liked the
And he
ending.
pulled the book out. How to make love all night. He's like, I think we're gonna get along pretty good. He's like, I knew the jokes were all gonna hit. Like,
I just have to believe though, if like I was put in this situation, if I was the guy getting like on the show, there would be times when I'm like,
whoa,
come on, man. Like I get what's going on here. You know, like I see what we're doing, but maybe not. Maybe it's part of what you said, but I think it takes a certain person for. I'm wondering, have they gone? It makes me think, have they started any of these before and it just didn't work out because the person was too
right? Is there a fail rate
pragmatic
to these?
of like,
or
he's like,
skeptical?
yeah,
to
and
the
you're
whole
like,
thing?
this is too silly. I don't want to participate in this. You know, like.
Yeah,
Those are the thoughts I have, but I will certainly be watching. And what's the name of it again?
The Rehearsal.
The Rehearsal. Yeah. Good show.
Great stuff.
Obviously, I was excited about it. I'm glad you brought it up.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I would have forgot about it. We did have some a tidbit of lifting thing here that I thought was interesting, and the title of this topic was the Dan Bell rankings. So what this was from this week, Johnny Candido in his story had a poll. The poll question was, rank these three, out of these three lifters, who ranks highest on the all-time best power lifter ranking?
And that is the actual
That's
criteria.
Who out of these three lifters ranks highest in your ranking of the all-time greatest power lifters? And it was Yuri Belkin, Russell Orhe, or Dan Bell. And I went through the list, and it didn't take me very long to click on Dan Bell, of course.
I did the same
have
thing
like
there.
personal bias, but also I have reasons, and we can get to that, why that makes sense to me. But I was shocked when out of the three, that was the lowest picked choice.
The same
on
thing that happened to me.
Candido's thing.
I could not believe it.
And I was like, oh, what? Like, I was very shocked by that. And I think this is part of him even putting this poll. Like, I don't know what his, I'm sure this follows up in a YouTube video somehow of his, but I think he's using that to make some sort of statement, if I were to guess.
Yeah, I think, and some more stuff here that I'm not aware of yet, so you're going to drop some more facts on me.
Right.
But already, I think you also have to look at who Johnny Candido's audience is.
For sure.
And one huge indicator that his audience is very
drug-tested powerlifting.
Whether you want to say USAPL or not aware of the greater powerlifting landscape, is it wasn't that long ago where he did a video, and I believe the title was something like the strongest powerlifter of all time that you've never heard of or something. And it was a video about Dan Bell.
Right,
It's like,
right. And
who doesn't know about this guy?
Yeah.
Like, there's no...
In our world, that's a crazy
At that point,
thought.
I think Dan still had, or I think Dan was already
the all-time world record.
Yeah. So it wasn't like Andre was there and Dan Bell was like number 2 or 3 or 4. Dan Bell was the strongest guy in the world, and you're saying people don't know about him, and the only way that can happen is if you're so in the USAPL world that you don't even pay attention to the broader powerlifting picture,
Which is a wild thought
which
to
seems
me.
crazy to me.
Very wild thought to me. Because
Like the idea of doing steroids has never crossed my mind, but the idea of not paying attention to people that do steroids or that are in even untested federations makes no sense to me.
Well, I think it does show his group is very pigeonholed into that drug tested group. Whereas I think like our view of powerlifting, or maybe even our audience, maybe I'm wrong on the audience part of it, but I know our view is we just kind of follow like all of the power. Like we're not, I think if you listen, you wouldn't say, oh, those guys are really into tested powerlifting or really into untested powerlifting. You would just say,
really, we're just into whoever's strong.
Right. Exactly.
And that's there's also even the flip side of it. Some people that are super into the untested world and don't even really pay attention to anything tested.
And I don't think that's us
And
either.
I can't relate to that either.
No.
To me, there's just strong is strong, and it's really cool to see all these people do it their different ways.
Yes. So we put the same poll because I had that same assumption that Candido probably has a very different audience than ours. Mm-hmm. Although I don't think ours is pigeonholed into the untested side. I think it's just a broad.
I think we have a
more random group of people that are into powerlifting. So we put the poll up, and ours was overwhelmingly Dan Bell as number one. Like it was like 75%, and then the last 15% was about split evenly between Yuri and Russell Orhe. And I was like, well, that was even much more drastic than what I would have guessed. You know, the other three was fair on Johnny's. It was fairly split between the three, but Dan was the lowest. Split? I mean, I think there was no one in the 40s.
Okay, because when I clicked it, I think it was like 50 or more to Russell.
And maybe I caught it early and it started to skew further.
Or maybe I got it the wrong time, but yeah, because it was Russell was like very overwhelming. Dan was in third by a decent amount when I checked it, which shocked me at the time.
And so, who do you think Candido's? Because after I posted it, Johnny messaged something. So, who do you think his pick is?
So did he actually tell you who his pick is? Do you know this? Oh, you do know this?
Yes.
I think he's got to say Dan Bell. I think you have to. It's a guy that's done what no one else has ever done. Those other people are, without a doubt, some of the absolute best lifters in the world at their weight class or their division, what they're doing. Like they have titles and achievements to their name without a doubt. They're some of the very best in the world. But at the end of the day, Dan Bell's the only guy that's ever done what he's done.
So do you think Johnny would look at it from that same perspective then?
I think he would, wouldn't he?
He would.
Yeah.
He did.
Yeah.
It's funny. He accidentally, on our poll, clicked on Russell Orhe and goes, oh crap. I meant to pick Dan Bell and I accidentally clicked on Russell's. But so he did say Dan. We both would say Dan. And to me, it's just obvious. There's powerlifting. There's a lot of different ways to skin the cat and win something. Of course, we've talked about that 1,000 times over the years. But at the end of the day, it is kind of about who can lift the most weight, right?
Yeah.
With
the least amount of qualifiers in front of the name.
So in this case, looking at this group of raw powerlifters, Dan has done that same thing in both sleeves and wraps. So. That's kind of just like I just don't know what the rest of the discussion is on that even, like I think if you're going to bring other people into and I don't think I think this is intentionally not a list of who Johnny thinks are 1, 2, and 3 in that ranking, because a lot of people, you'd put Ed Cohn somewhere in there. You'd put John Hack somewhere in there.
Yeah.
But I think there's a reason he picked these 3. And I think part of it is seeing that, I don't know, Yuri's a little bit, I don't know the explanation for that, but it's more of a contrast between, does someone pick Russell Orhe or do they pick Dan Bell? Because that tells you a lot about someone's choice on what they pick there, I think.
I think, it does. And Russell Orhe is...
I think it's insanity to pick him over Dan Bell. I'll say that. Like, we don't do that many hot takes. I think it is... I could not wrap my head around that.
I can't either. Like, that doesn't make any sense.
Unless you are just so, the only way though is honestly, I guess if you were just so against untested powerlifting that you just discount everything that exists in untested powerlifting.
Yeah, that would be the out. But
that's
even then,
I disagree, but I can understand your reasoning.
I would say, and I changed the name of the game here a little bit, but even then I would say, well, if you're going to say tested powerlifters, you got to say Ray Williams is better than Russell Orhe still, don't you?
His totals much more. I don't know. He probably has more national USA or IPF world titles. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong about that. He's got the biggest total, I think, still in sleeves tested.
Yeah. It just feels hard to make an argument that Ray Williams still isn't.
I would agree with that too.
But again, we tend to favor towards the side of just absolute weight is the most impressive thing.
Exactly.
That's Yeah, that's kind of always been our view, though. Is
Yeah.
and we've never really even talked about it a ton, but it's just powerlifting. The name of the game is moving the most weight possible,
Right.
and it's just more impressive to see guys move really, really, really big
Right.
weight, regardless of how
Right.
much they weigh.
And it's not to discount any of those other people.
No, they're still some of the best in the world.
Exactly.
And I would love to be able to do what they do any day.
Right.
There's no
but the
argument
question here really, that's the logical answer to that question. I think unless the one reasoning I not on board with, but understand if it is your reasoning is like, I do not count any, untested powerlifting is not in the discussion for me.
Yeah. If you don't count it, then
Yeah.
I guess in that group you have to pick. Well,
Right.
by default you have to pick Russell because
Right.
he's the only one that's untested in that,
Right.
or the only one that is tested in that group.
Yeah. So interesting discussion though, and interesting how drastically different the answer was from our poll group than his. Not necessarily surprising though.
No, it's not. And I'm also curious how it's interesting with Johnny because he has such a huge audience, but how many of his people in his audience are people of maybe a similar size to him too, because they relate to him.
I
And
bet there's something to that too.
people of a similar size are always they're going to probably put more stock into people closer to their
Smaller
size.
people are going to be more likely
Gravitate towards
to
smaller
pick
people.
a smaller person in
Yeah.
that scenario than a big person. There's no super heavyweight powerlifters that are not going to pick Dan Bell, I feel like. Maybe there's some outliers to that rule, but that's a pretty safe rule. I don't think there's anyone above that weighs more than 230. Pick a number like wherever the line in the sand is, like 240, 242 or more. That's not going to pick Dan Bell.
That'd be,
but in that exact list, and that's just a probably an oversimplification, but
I think you're probably majority right there.
Right. But I did think that was interesting, right?
Yeah, I'm curious to see if there is anything that comes out of that, if it turns into a bigger video topic, or if it really is just, no, this is a poll and that was it.
Right.
We got a can.
Yeah, okay.
And this is a what's in the can, because I'm like 99% sure we have not done this one before.
I've been warming up my taste buds all day, and I really think that
they're hot, you're saying?
They are locked and loaded and ready to. Is this fresh out the oven?
This is fresh out the oven. I hope it doesn't burn your hands. I put a koozie on it just so your hands.
This isn't a fan submit, is it? I've been hearing a lot of clamoring about fan
this
submissions.
This is not, but
oh, it's skinny.
All right. I'm going in here. I've not had this yet either.
Crispy crack on that one.
I think you could you might get close on this, maybe.
I'm not feeling as confident as you. I think
while I'm sitting here just staring at the name.
If I just knew the color of the can, that would help a lot.
Probably not.
Okay. Just kidding. What is that flavor? Didn't I guess strawberry last week?
Was that last week?
And it was actually blackberry.
You're right. That was last week.
Because I'll be honest, I don't know if strawberry is my new cherry cola. Because I'm feeling a little strawberry again. Let me try it. But what was it? It was blackberry when I thought.
Last week was blackberry lemon.
I can't put my finger on that. Well, I'm guessing it's one of the fancier LaCroix, that are like shaped like this.
Okay.
But also it's got
a skinny
it's
can.
pretty flavorful. Let me give myself a flavor rating again. It's kind of almost got a LaCroix taste to me. Maybe it's not that. I don't know. I'll say I'm going strawberry kiwi for the second week in a row.
Okay.
I'm going to get strawberry kiwi again.
Take a look. So it is Pina Fraise, which is pineapple strawberry.
Oh.
So that's not a bad guess.
That's fairly close,
That's a
actually.
pretty good guess.
And it is the fancy LaCroix.
It is.
And I really didn't, I did have the shape of the can to tip me off on that, to be fair, though. It did feel like a LaCroix to me, though. I couldn't put my finger on how to describe it, but there was something that just makes me feel like it was a LaCroix.
I did not think you were going to get the strawberry. I thought the pineapple was kind of obvious here, but when you said strawberry, you had me surprised on that one.
Yeah,
like pineapple.
Knowing
right
I
away.
think this is pineapple. The pineapple hits first. I think.
Absolutely. Yep.
Like, would you say that that's that's the pineapple hits first?
Pineapple. That's all I taste. I don't even get the strawberry. So when you said that, I was kind of shocked because I was looking at the can saying strawberry, and I couldn't really sense it in there.
Yeah, there's layers to that one. I think the pineapple's on the top of the can, and they put the strawberry on the bottom.
Oh, I forgot to shake it up. That was the problem. I think I'd give that 3.5.
That's a 3.5.
Yeah, I'm not a huge pineapple guy, but it's pretty refreshing.
Do you know what a upside down pineapple in your grocery cart signifies? You are the one of the two of us that goes grocery shopping, so actually you should know this more than I.
Upside down pineapple in your
an upside down pineapple in your grocery cart. Check to the Discord. Someone in the Discord.
Swingers.
It means you're a swinger.
What?
Means you're walk around the grocery store with an upside down pineapple.
Was
and it
that
means
in a
you're
movie
down
or
to
something?
swing. I don't know. I think it's
Was it in the movie Swingers and I missed it?
what is that movie? I don't
Isn't
even know
that
what
the
that
movie
is.
with Vince Vaughn?
Oh, you're thinking of Wedding Crashers.
No, it's I'm pretty
School?
sure.
Oh, you're thinking Old School. Yeah,
Nah.
Old School. There we go.
Yep, it is a Vince Vaughn movie.
Okay.
Swingers.
I mean, that totally seems like it would be a Vince Vaughn movie.
Yeah, it does.
Here's another trivia question.
I did not know that. I've never heard that.
Do you know what a single solitary garden gnome on your front porch signifies?
No, never.
See if anyone in the Discord knows this one.
Oh, we got some typing. Serial killer, swinger.
Big David is correct. Also means you're a swinger.
Really?
Yeah.
I've never heard these before.
I'm less familiar with that one, but in recent conversation, someone brought that up. But I do know the pineapple one to be true. Someone filled me in on the single solitary garden gnome in your front porch.
Apparently, I'm not up with the ways of the world right now.
Yeah. So don't accidentally walk around with an upside down pineapple next time you're at the grocery store.
I'm curious what other grocery store faux pas I've been committing all these years.
I'd be curious to see it sometime now and be like,
do you know what it means if you have like 12 kielbasa's in your grocery cart?
You like to have a good
You
time?
just like kielbasa's a lot.
You're someone I want to hang out with this weekend?
All right. Well, I'm not even really sure how we got going on that even.
It's good
Oh,
though.
pineapple. Pineapple LaCroix. There we go. Okay.
Yeah.
We do have.
Pineapple Express. Have you ever seen that movie?
I have absolutely seen Pineapple Express. When that movie came out, I thought it was like one of the funniest movies I'd ever seen. It was so funny. It was great. And
Good
it had
movie.
the trailer had, so this is probably 2006 had to be my guess when the trailer came out. And it had Paper Planes by MIA in the trailer, the song. And I thought at the time that was the craziest song I ever heard.
That's how old that song is, huh?
Yeah. And I thought that was so awesome. The song
does hit
and the
a
video.
little
Oh, the
different,
whole
yeah.
thing was amazing. I loved it.
I feel like that movie. I think it's a really good movie, but I feel like it's faded. Like I don't hear that referenced. Like I feel like we've never mentioned in 6 years of all the movies we've mentioned and stuff. Pineapple Express have never come up once.
You know what the line that always that stuck with me and a bunch of my friends was, it's Daryl from The Office. I don't know what his character's name is in Pineapple Express, but first he goes to the house and I think they left and he puts his hand in. And they have some casserole or hot dish. And he goes, "The food's still warm." they were here, and then he's asking him something. He goes, "I seen it," and like we said, "I seen it forever." We thought that was so funny. Yeah, he puts the food's still warm, and he has his hands in the casserole.
That is good. I haven't seen it for a really long time.
It's been a very long time for me too. Today is my cat. You know what today is? Today is my cat's birthday, and I make him a big cake, and then they just start beating each other. Right? That's Pineapple
I think
Express,
so.
isn't it?
Yeah.
Some great stuff there.
Yeah.
And they triangulate the cell phones that he
Yeah,
throws.
yeah.
Yeah.
You were gonna say something?
Well,
about
we have our next point here to talk about.
Oh, yeah.
And it's the long-awaited stock segment.
Do we have time now, or where are we at?
Shoo.
We might have to save that for after.
I didn't know we were at the 30-minute mark. Wow. Okay.
We might have to do supporting our supporting members, actually.
Yeah, sneak that in.
should we support our supporting members? I think we probably should, right?
Yeah.
So supporting our supporting members, it's a relatively new segment to the podcast, and what we do here is there's this group of people that choose to support the Massenomics podcast monetarily through our supporting membership options available on our website. There's at least 4 different options out there for you to choose from, and all the options come with amazing perks, some of those being a discount code, access to our Discord community. That's probably the biggest thing.
You get live access to this first half hour when we're recording.
You can listen along live with our group now, and you can actually influence what it is we say on the podcast sometimes. We might look over, you post something, and we think, that's funny. I'm going to say something about it right now. And sometimes we ignore it.
Yep. Little both.
So yeah, you could become a supporting member, and then also probably the coolest perk is sometimes you get in on this segment. So number one, Big Scance, of course, is in supporting our supporting members. He finds a way to make it all the time. He competed in another Highland Games competition this last weekend, and he didn't throw in the Masters division. He went open against all the young bucks. Yeah, no Masters for Scance. That doesn't seem right, does it? Big David, I think I saw he's listening along live tonight. He competed at Strongman Core West Coast Regionals in the 200-pound class, and he did have a write-up that started not the meat he wanted.
I did see that in there,
and I appreciated that. But he didn't win. But you know what? He tried damn hard, and
that's really all.
That's what matters to me.
Yep.
He still gets a trophy in my mind. And then this last one, Matthias Cash, Big Matt C _ lifts. He competed in his first USAPL meet. Listen to this. Weighing 164.5. Okay. He squatted 573.
Damn.
Benched 331. Whew. And deadlifted 617 for a 1521 total.
In his you said his
first USAPL meet.
Oh, still. Wow.
Yeah.
At 164? Whatever?
Yeah.
Wow, those are some great numbers.
No kidding. Like all are well-rounded great numbers too. Where I'm like, this guy knows how to lift.
He's been to the gym a time or two.
And I'm assuming he's a supporting member. He knows how to party too. So this guy's kind of got it all.
Yeah.
Big Matt knows what he's up to, doesn't he?
I mean, he has a lot of big mats to have competition with. So he's really doing his part to try and separate himself from the others.
Yeah. Really impressive though. Good stuff. Huck Finn just messaged you SOB. Not sure why it is that I'm an SOB, but
well,
I'm sure we'll
I
hear
think
more
you know
on it.
why.
Yeah.
You told me.
Actually, he called earlier this week and I haven't called him back yet. So, but I think they're recording their podcast tonight too, it looked like. So,
do you want to tell your story about how you had those text messages on your phone?
Oh, yeah. I was telling Tommy before. I'm like, earlier today, the last 3 text messages in my phone were Brandon Diamond, Brandon Campbell, Bobby Thompson, and Huck Finn. And if we've said things like this before, but if you would have told like 5 years ago us that, or like, 6 or 10 years ago, I would have been like, what?
That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, what is the scenario that led to this? And now it's just like doing business at Massenomics.
It's just a day at the office.
Yeah,
now.
it's just a day at the Massenomics office. It is fun and it is really cool. But it is funny to think back on what 25-year-old me would have been like. What is going on?
Yeah, what did I deserve to do this? What did I do to deserve this?
Okay. Some people, I had alluded to we might have info about an upcoming drop. I didn't make promises. I said there might be info. And what's holding us back is we're just, we actually don't know yet the details. There is, we could say this, there's an important August drop coming up. We don't know the date yet because we literally don't.
Yeah, we're hoping the first week in August.
Yes.
But we don't know. It could be the second, hopefully not the third week.
Right. We are hoping for the week this comes out that
there's a drop.
So
if you're
but we don't know that yet.
Make sure to get onto the website or at least just pay attention on social media and see if there's anything.
And it is a drop that we're really excited about. That's got a few cool things in there. One thing in particular that we're really think is going to blow the doors open, but that's just so happens to be the thing that we don't know for sure the ETA on yet, so we can't put the cart before the horse, so to speak.
Mm-hmm. We're just playing the waiting game right now.
I don't want to count our chickens before they've hatched.
No,
either.
we do not.
So that's it. That's your update on that.
All right. Bye, Discord.
See you, Discord. Now should we get, speaking of Big Brandon, should we get him on the horn?
Let's do it.
Hello.
Big Brandon, is that you?
This is the biggest Brandon that you guys could ever imagine. What's going on, guys?
Not too much. You are, of course, live on the Massenomics podcast, if you didn't know that already.
I have been looking forward to this most of my adult life.
Well, you've now reached that rare territory of being a repeat guest, which very few people can say that.
I'm thinking, I was thinking about that myself. I was like, I wonder how many people actually, number one, been asked to be on a second time, and number two, have actually accepted. So I'm truly blessed, my friends.
The list of asking is really long. The list of accepting really short.
I just don't know. Well, it's a very high billing to live up to with some of your past guests since the last time I've been on. So I feel honored to be asked back.
Yeah, what happened is we've officially run out of people that we know, or we've run out of people that we can find on Instagram. So we're circling back through.
Hey, I'll take that. Repeat customer. Sold.
Yep. So we are excited to talk to you though, because it's probably been like, I don't know, that was probably about episode 200. So it's maybe been 2.5 years since we've had you on even. It's been a long time.
I mean, we were in the other room.
Yeah, that's true. So things have changed since then. So we got a lot of catching up to do.
Yeah, you guys have gone bougie. So
yes,
you're slinging safety spotters for drinks and everything. It's a wild time to be alive.
Who would have thought that this is where we would end up?
Yeah, I'm looking at my drink spotter right now, which is mounted to my GHD, which could also have been a drink spotter. So I don't know if that's a double negative
it's like
or not.
A drink spotter holding a drink spotter.
I don't know if they cancel each other out.
So you are in the GHD camp, like, to be clear on that.
Yeah, I had a reverse hyper before, and it didn't do it for me. I think it's one of those things that's like it's a 50-50 shot if it's going to actually do anything for your lower back. And it wasn't for me, so it had to go. So GHD was the way it was, and I love my GHD.
But what if we said GHR? What would you say?
Right.
Nope.
No. Okay.
Nope.
I'm struggling. I get so wrapped up in this, I start to forget what I even originally thought.
GHR is what we always say.
Okay, we always said GHR. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So the way that someone explained to me that made sense is that the machine is a GHD. And the movement is a GHR.
Yeah. I don't like it because it's not what I think.
Yeah. It's not what I want it to be. So
I mean that's a fair argument.
Yeah. Okay. So we do have kind of a list of things we wanted to talk to you about, and something interesting here. As we all know, Tommy and I both use Juggernaut AI for our training. You use Juggernaut AI for your training, and you've actually used it for really long. You're probably up there on the list of people that have continuously used it.
You're pretty senior in your experience.
Right. How long have you been on it?
Yeah. So I think I started on the programming, I want to say about 18 months ago or so. So it was December-ish of 2020. So yeah, about a year and a half, probably. It'll be 2 years this coming December. So I'm not good at math. You got to apologize, guys. But yeah, long time.
Yeah, and obviously it's worked pretty well for you, it seems like.
Yeah, you know what? I told Chad, I was like, I'm gonna ride this thing till the wheels fall off, either of the program or myself. And it's just it's one of those things that I've been using it for so long, and this might come up in conversations on the course of the call or whatnot. But it's interesting because it's like it just keeps throwing more and more at me, and it just kind of keeps adapting to what I can handle, which is a lot. So like I just got out of a hypertrophy block where I was literally squatting 4 times per week. And each time that I was squatting, it was like for sets of like 10. And somehow my old man knees and back is just held up really, really well. So it's really kind of gotten me to where I need to be.
So yeah, I saw you had some posts referencing that, and I didn't know if that was something you were specifically requesting Juggernaut to do, or if that was what it was just throwing at you.
No, yeah. So it's like one of the things that as people use it, what you'll find is it uses a lot of like MEV and MRV.
Right.
I'm not sure if you guys are super familiar with that, but basically like after a block, depending on how you rate certain things, they'll just say, all right, this guy can handle some more work. We'll throw it at him. Or, hey, we need to scale this back because his RPEs and his ratings are too high for what they should. Just based off my responses for squats, they just keep adding more and more volume onto it, where like for my hypertrophy blocks, I need like 40 working sets of squats per week, apparently. And it's working. I mean, my squats have been going up really well, so I can't complain.
Yeah, you can look at within the app, you can see what it within your training right now for each of the main lifts in each phase, whether it's hypertrophy, strength, or peaking. You can see what your MEV MRV range is, and that number is number of sets, correct? Number of sets per week for that lift, right?
Well, it depends. So
Okay.
I mean, it's like the minimum amount you can need to get progress versus like the maximum where you can't recover from.
Right.
So I mean, it could be reps, it could be sets. It
Okay.
just depends.
Okay.
But yeah, and I mean, it'll tell you your frequency too. It tells you a little bit of everything, like how you're being programmed for. And what I like about that aspect for is, as someone who's come from paid coaching as well, which also worked really well for me. Like I didn't have much of a clue what the hell's going on. I just kind of looked at what they gave me for the week or for the 4 weeks. And then I said, all right, I'm just going to do this. And then in another 4 weeks, I need to know what to do. But at least with the Juggernaut AI app really kind of shows you where you are in the process and continually updates you about how things are changing and why they're changing. So
what I'm wondering, we haven't been using it for as long, so it really hasn't had the opportunity to make that drastic of changes for ours yet. What I'm wondering for those changes, like that it's getting you squatting that many times per week, is that literally just from you over time answering the questions, basically your RPE per set, or are you at the end of training blocks answering questions about how overall
are you rating your days as like a 5 and a 6?
Right. Or are you doing something really significant, or like at the end of the training block saying my squat volume is too low, that sort of thing?
Yeah, no. So actually, no. So
okay,
for this, at the end of a week, at the end of a block, they give you basically a rating of 1 through 5, and 3 is right in the middle. So if you go below 3, that's basically saying you need less. If you go above 3, that's saying you need more. I just keep it at 3, to be honest. I just gonna let the program do what it is, which by definition of the program is they're just going to continue to program how Chad would see fit. I think what it changes for me is like when I'm doing my actual working sets during the week, the weights that it might suggest and kind of where I end up or what I rate those things that are supposed to be a certain RPE. If I'm rating them less than that, it's basically seeing that, hey, this guy needs more work because it's not really what we need to do.
Okay. What is, could you pinpoint one part of the program that's your favorite aspect of using it?
Yeah. So I think for me, what's really helped, and it's hard to say like one specific thing, but what has worked best for me is that it's smart programming in the sense of using the RPEs and also just the daily readiness scale. Like when you first start going into a training session, it's going to ask you some real basic questions. How'd you sleep last night? How'd you eat? How you feeling? And it breaks it down based off of body parts. Like being honest with the app, which is the key thing, and longevity. Obviously, the more you use it, the more the app learns your own kind of training preferences and how you respond to stuff. But what the app will do is will scale back in certain circumstances. So you might see if you log into the app at the very top, there's a daily readiness rating. And like, I find that really correlates to how I feel and how I perform. So if that thing starts to dip into like the 17s or 16s, I basically can relate to that because I feel like crap. And again, it's based off how you rate things, both in the pre-training surveys, post-training surveys, during the actual during the actual week itself. And what I found is by it then seeing that and scaling back, I can recover in like a week or two, and I'm not going to get hurt. My knees aren't going to ache. My back's not going to hurt. And it's going to let me kind of stay healthy and keep training and keep on track. So does those little daily micro adjustments that where if in the past I was doing like a template or working with a coach where I might not only have like maybe like a monthly check-in with them, we couldn't really make those little fine-tuning adjustments day by day, week by week. And within Juggernaut you can, which I kind of really like.
That makes sense. So follow up to that is if you could change one thing about it, what would that be? Is there anything that comes to mind?
Sure. Yeah. And this is something I've talked to Chad about, and I think it's in the works, but for me, I've used the app to go to 2 actual competitions. So I used it to prep for the meets, and then I used it within the meet. I think the actual meet day experience could use a little bit of work. The way that it works now is it calculates, your attempts for all 3 lifts, all 3 attempts, and it gives you kind of what it suggests. It gives you a low number and a high number, depending on how you're feeling for each attempt. But what I really like to see is kind of some kind of more guidance around warming up, which the app doesn't do in the day-to-day during the normal weekly training, whatever, it just gives you your working sets, which for me is fine. But I think when you're actually planning like an actual 1 rep max, I would like to see some guidance about, all right, this is how you should warm up. This is what the attempts should be. This is what the reps should be leading up to that, that first attempt. And then I'd like to see also when you, let's say, take your first attempt, put in some kind of information regarding how that attempt went to then guide you to your next attempt. Should it be right online? Should it be less? Should it be more? Right now, it's pretty binary, just a yes or a no. Did you make the lift? Did you not make the lift? And it's still up to you to kind of pick your next attempt. So I'd like to see that area improve, but I think that's a minor gripe in considering that, like, I've been using it for almost 2 years, and that's like my only really minor nitpick, something that happens for me a couple times a year for a 1-day event only. So I think that speaks volumes of the app itself.
Yeah, that makes sense. A positive spin off of that is they are making changes. That seems like something that'll totally come down the pike on it. I think at some point in time that I could very much see that being something that is added into it eventually.
Yeah, and I know Chad and Tim, who does all the programming on the back end, they've been working a lot of stuff in since I've actually started the app, and it's all been great. And I know it takes time and effort to do something like that, and I do see that some other changes are coming down the line, which are going to be real cool too.
We know that you are kind of the basement guy, so could you rank these following 4 gyms, or not gyms, 4 basements? These following 4 basements from worst to best. So here's your choices in no particular order: your gym, your basement gym, the Wayne's World basement, the Massenomics podcast recording studio, and the basement from That 70s Show.
So you're giving me basically 1 East Coast basement versus like 3 Midwest basements.
We do have a bit of a Midwest. Yeah, that's true, I guess. Right? Yeah, that's true.
Because Wayne's World is in Illinois. Yep. You guys, obviously, South Dakota.
That 70s Show, Wisconsin, I think, right?
Right.
I think so.
Yeah.
This is basement culture over here, though.
One that didn't make the list was the basement to the Alamo, but we weren't sure if that would mean anything to you or not. So we I think that's where Pee Wee Herman's bike was.
I do have fond memories of Pee Wee Herman's Big Adventure. Actually, I'm just laughing because oddly enough, I had a conversation about Pee Wee Herman today, which I don't think many people could say.
Twice in one day.
to today's modern day Pee Wee Herman, known as Blippy.
Oh, I don't know about
it. I was not aware of him until very recently, and now
stay away.
Does your son watch Blippy?
It's been on a couple times.
I'm not in on Blippy.
It's pretty obnoxious.
Okay.
Yep. Speaking of obnoxious, let's talk about gyms, and we'll start with. To me, I am very non-discriminatory against any basement gym. Everything has their pros. I would say mine is probably the most lonely, as it typically only includes myself. That 70s Show basement is great because I believe it is a walkout, which is highly sought after in many basements.
Absolutely.
They're also
getting equipment in and out of there.
Yeah. Partake in a lot of other activities in that basement, which look to be like a lot of fun. The Wayne's World basement, I believe, has some sweet wood paneling, which probably the 70s Show basement does as well. And you can't go wrong with Wayne and Garth. And then obviously, the creme de la creme, the Massenomics podcast station.
We have a neon sign.
Yeah, right.
I heard they call it the gem of Aberdeen. I would rank, because I'm extremely biased and I know my audiences and who listens to this thing. Obviously, the Massenomics is number one in both function, feng shui, all that stuff. You guys have taken a lot of time to kind of edit that thing and put the nice lights behind you. Great job. I will put my basement at the bottom only because that would then spur me on to be like, oh, I need to buy some more shit for myself because I'm the worst basement of this list.
Yeah. That's a psychology play on yourself.
And then, and then right in the middle, you could throw it up to the Wings World or that 70 show, either one. So you're the best. I'm the worst. Next question.
Well, we can't argue with you there. We were talking about gym aesthetic, though. Tommy was talking about some stuff about your gym, and then
so you obviously have the color coordination down about as good as anyone could possibly in a home gym, and there's no shortage of home gyms nowadays and customization options. But looking at that, is there any colors that you feel like are maybe not represented as much as they should be, or maybe like an underrated color for home gym equipment that people aren't using?
Yeah, I think, when I see some of the stuff that some of the manufacturers are doing these days, some of them have like this, and Ghost was doing some of this too, but now I've seen some from like Irwin Fitness Supply out of Canada. They're doing like these, I don't know the right term for it. I'm just calling them like a candy coating, like some of those. It's almost like a metallic flake in there that look really, really good. And I think that's a good way to pop things off. The problem is, I think for most people with some of those colors that aren't more easily replicated, like the standard base colors we're all kind of used to, is that getting that equipment consistently can be tough because a lot of that stuff is going to be more special order, or like they'll only have like a bench or something available. So like I know a lot of people actually, for instance, like the rep clear grind that they do, which is really nice to look at. But I mean, they don't have all of their equipment available in that finish. So you might be mixing and matching, or then having to replace items if you're really hell bent on getting like a matching color scheme. But otherwise, I think it's tough to say. I do like I said, a lot of those like candy colored type things, but it would be hard to kind of outfit a full gym in, I think.
Yeah,
that makes sense when you look at the bigger picture of if you're trying to play the matching game there.
Yeah, I don't know if you use this terminology for yourself, but yours kind of always gives me the stormtrooper vibe, with the white.
Yeah.
That's kind of what I think about when I see, the all white like that.
Yeah, I think that it wasn't intentional really at first. And then I just, I got a white RM3 when I unfortunately had to spend some time in the garage in a rental while we were building this house I was in.
The dark ages.
And I just wanted something, I wanted something just neutral that would kind of just blend in with anything. And then I just really liked the cleanliness of the look, and I just continued to go with that. And too, I do like that stormtrooper look. And I kind of just relate that back to like those are early, well, not super early, but those Miami Hurricanes teams that would do the all white kind of stormtrooper look in college football. And then it kind of really caught on from there. But yeah, I like that basic black and white look, and most equipment will come into that. Or if I do introduce any other colors, they will match no matter what. So it shouldn't be a problem.
So have you seen you having a variety of things from different manufacturers? Is white pretty much always white, or do you even see a variance in whites?
Yeah, no. So this sounds like a social justice question veiled thinly.
No, that's not where we're going. Yeah.
For you boys in South Dakota, I know your game. No. I probably have like, I would say 7 to 8 different manufacturer pieces that have like white powder coat on it here currently. And to be honest, I cannot really tell a difference between any of them. As long as it's like a glossy white, it all really looks the same. Because I mean, you got to think of it too. Like in the basement, the lighting might not be as good sometimes in a garage, so you'll have shadows and stuff. So sometimes things can look a little off. But I would say it all kind of goes along pretty well together. I think it's a pretty standard white.
Okay, way off topic here, but when you said about the Miami Hurricanes, it reminded me. So you played high school basketball. Did you play any college basketball at all either? Or?
Yeah. Well, if you consider D3 college basketball,
I mean,
that is a college.
It still is. And so I've seen you wear like the NBA has those very particular T-shirts that like every team has like the similar T design or sweatshirt. I feel like I've seen you wear like 3 different teams of that. Am I imagining that, or what is your
So besides, I'll answer your question too, but so besides gym equipment, I have an odd fascination into sports uniforms and kind of like, I don't want to say game worn because that's gross, but like, team issued gear.
Yeah.
So like back in the day when eBay first went on and before it was just full of like cheap counterfeit stuff, I would go on there and just buy like jerseys from everybody, all the sports, team issued jackets, things like that. Just something I always really liked. For the basketball stuff, it's helped because a lot of the basketball stuff these days, it comes in like tall sizes because I'm a little bit taller and I'm also a little bit skinnier. So like if I go like full blown Massenomics shirt and those triple XLs, I'm swimming in it.
Yeah.
So at least this way I can get stuff that fits. And as far as team loyalty goes, it's tough to say 100% just because we moved around a lot when I was growing up because my parents were in the military. But I consider myself from the Northern Virginia area. So a lot of the DC teams that I like, which they just so happen to change their names all the time, apparently, from the Bullets to the Wizards and from the team that shall not be named, from the football team to the Commanders. So
that's right. I forget that's what it is now, the Commanders. Okay.
Yeah. But I've lived in New England, in Rhode Island for the past 20 years. My family's originally from this area. So they're all Patriots, Red Sox, whatever, which I like those teams, but no offense. And also some offense thrown in here, but the fan base is just so annoying that it's like, I don't want to be another one of those people. So I try not to broadcast my support for many New England teams, even though that I do secretly root for them on the side.
Okay. So there was something to that then. That was an informative answer on that.
Yeah. Those sweatshirts are also really comfy. And also a lot of times when I buy those things, again, it's still on eBay where it's like last season or or 2 seasons ago model. So it's like really cheap, but they're really comfortable. So it works out well.
What position did you play in basketball?
So in high school, I was like a 4 or like a power forward-ish. Same within college, but like I was probably playing behind the 2 other people on my team that were like 6'8", 6'9". So I was a little bit shorter. So I was more just in there, rebound, screen, play defense. They didn't really trust me. I kind of relate myself to like the pre-Draymond Green, before Draymond Green was out there. He does a little bit of the dirty stuff, the little things, doesn't score a lot, can't really shoot that well.
So you wouldn't go full on Dennis Rodman comparison, then you would go more Draymond Green. Dennis Rodman, I guess, being very unskilled at shooting, and that would be the difference there to me.
Well, Dennis Rodman in college in like his JUCO days averaged like 20 some points a game.
The worm.
But I do like that style of play where it's like I realize, look, I'm not going to score a lot of points. I'm not that quick necessarily, but if I could like get a bunch of rebounds, play good defense, I would get playing time. And that's kind of how that translated, and that's kind of what I focused on.
Do you ever have like any like city league or pickup games you play anymore?
Yeah. So when I got out of college, I played in a couple of local leagues around here, and it was just, I got to the point where it was just so frustrating. It's interesting only because I really fell in love with lifting. I always liked lifting. I got into it because of basketball, and I actually quit basketball because of lifting. So my freshman year of college playing ball, I ended up getting stress fractures in both of my feet, which meant I couldn't play for a long period of time. And I just ended up eating a lot and lifting a lot. And you put those two together with basically no more aerobic activity like I've been doing for the past like 10 years. And I was like, I can actually get strong, use my strength, So
we know.
Oh yeah.
So you guys, I'm preaching to the choir here. And I just found out that I liked lifting and doing that and being in college a lot more than I liked playing or sitting on the bench for D3 basketball. So I haven't really played much since then. It's just not something that's interested me. And when I do play, I get frustrated just because I'm so used to organized basketball that going out and playing with just like a bunch of randoms just isn't fun. Especially again when your forte is setting screens, playing
stuff that
defense,
people don't want to
rebounds.
do in pickup basketball. Yeah,
They're like, what is this jackass doing over here? He's not shooting threes from half court. Get him out of here.
Yes, trying to play defense.
Yes. You've you've become known as an equipment reviewer as in the last few years, but it's funny, when Tommy and I would have both started following along with your stuff, that wasn't what I would have ever
like a
said.
fitness vlogger,
Right,
kind of.
right. And I have a question about the equipment reviewing. I don't have a particular question about this, but just as I think about it, it is just funny. We've been following along long enough that there's been this evolution that when we first, I don't think you didn't have a home gym when I first, you were training at commercial gym.
Commercial one was,
right.
yeah.
When we started. So it is just interesting how you've adapted to that over the years too.
Yeah, it's been kind of like none of it's been on purpose. So like when I first got on YouTube, it was because I wanted supplement companies to send me free supplements. And I was really big on the bodybuilding.com forums. And that was like a way for me to get in. I was like, hey, I'm going to do a video review on your products if you send them to me. So people started to do that. So I started to make videos. Then as people started to watch them, they're like, oh, that's great. But, what do you do for your training? What do you do for your nutrition? It's like, oh, let me make some videos on that. And then eventually I built a home gym. And as part of that, I would be like, all right, I need to buy something. What the hell do I buy? Let me search on YouTube. Oh, crap. There's no videos on any of this stuff just yet. So I'm like, I'm just going to buy something. And when I bought it, I was like, let me just talk about it in case anyone else is doing that. And they're like, oh, what about this? And what about that? And then companies started to send me shit. And it's just kind of snowballed from there where I'm at the point where it's like, that's all I can do. I feel like I'm like stuck in this
it's never ending. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm actually,
you can't catch up to
like, no, I got all the equipment. I'm good.
Well,
now.
have you ever turned anything down from someone?
all the time.
Okay.
Most of it. So most of the people that want to give you free stuff, it's not really great stuff. It's like, not to say that cheap and affordable can't be good, but there's like a reason that they're trying to give it to you for free because they want people to see their stuff. They want people to buy it. And oftentimes with a lot of that, people expect favorable reviews when they're giving you something for free.
You don't do that though. You do not. Like if there's anyone that I watch that gives like really frank reviews, and if it was me, I would be nervous about sending you stuff because I'm like, oh God, he's going to rip it apart. If like he's going to find the details.
Yeah. So I try to, at least lately, I try to walk the line of, I'm not going to tell you to buy something. I'm not going to tell you not to buy something. I'm just going to talk about it and say, this is what I like. This is what I don't like. This is who this might be for. And this is who this definitely isn't for. And then let the viewer make up their mind. Because I figure that if you're watching a video on XYZ product, it's because there's some level of interest. So I'm not trying to sell you it necessarily. I'm just trying to let you know of what it's going to be like or what you can expect if you're going to buy it, and then leave that up to you, which is better for me because this isn't for me. YouTube is still like a hobby, surprisingly enough. But I'm not relying on people buying stuff through my affiliate links in order to pay my bills or feed my kids. That money's nice because then I can buy more gym equipment if people do use that.
Yep.
But I don't want to be monetarily incentivized to give something a favorable review just because I get kickbacks from it. So I try to be more careful about that these days than maybe I was before, taking on pretty much just everything under the sun.
That all being said, then speaking about barbells in particular, is there if you could only have one power bar and cost is completely out of the picture, it doesn't matter what it costs, and you can only have one, which one are you going with?
Yeah, this is a tough one. Well, I know my answer, but it's funny because I actually don't have this bar anymore. And I say that because for the longest time, what I would consider the best daily driver for me was my Rogue Ohio power bar in stainless steel. And I ended up actually selling that with the expectation that I would buy like one of the Agro 2X versions, which I've heard a lot of good things about. So I haven't replaced it yet, but that to me is kind of the perfect bar. The knurling on there is grippy, but it's not overly aggressive where it's going to chew through your hands or your back. And you can use it every single day for every single lift. You could still pull heavy singles or squat heavy singles on it, and it would be fine enough. And because of the finish, no matter where you are, it'll last a long, long time.
And is that because there's a pound and a kilo?
That's what I was
bar,
gonna.
right?
That's a good question. Yeah.
Yeah, 45 pound bar, I think. So the problem with the kilo bars for me is those collars are super thin.
That was going to be my question too.
A couple of those Rogue Power Bars, and I don't for our squat racks. It's not ideal.
It doesn't. You have to have the perfect walkout to not hit the rack with that thing.
Yeah. So if you have a dirty walkout, it'll definitely humble you. The bright side is it can help you improve that walkout because if you're taking a heavy single on squats and you try to take a step back and you hit the side of the upright, it's like you're almost guaranteed not to get that lift.
I'm screwed now.
It's just jarring.
Yeah. So I like the 45 pound version because the collar's probably about 2 to 3 times as thick without being overly thick, like some other bars potentially. But it's personal preference because some people like those bigger collars because again, you'll never hit the sides or the uprights in that case. So it just really depends.
Okay, that's a good answer. And then what about specialty bars? Same question. You can only have one, what we would consider a specialty bar. Price does not matter. It could be the most expensive one. That doesn't matter.
Sure. So for me, again, funny enough, bar that I had that I no longer have is the Elite FTS SS yoke. That was kind of my favorite specialty bar. I love the safety bar squats. I feel like that has really helped my squat and my deadlift. The bar is awesome, but I got rid of it when I got my Kabuki Transformer bar, which is good for different reasons. But in terms of pure safety squat bar squatting, the Elite version is better. Now, a lot of people on the side will say, all right, yeah, you can get Titan. You can get the Bells of Steel version. You could get the newly released Rep version, which you definitely can. It's going to be cheaper. Some of the features might be a little bit better, but they're a clone of that Elite bar. So I kind of have my loyalty to them, but any one of that with that design would be good. But for me, it's the Elite FTS one.
I think that's a solid choice. It's tough. We have a gym full of, we talk about this quite frequently. We've got, just about every different kind of power bar people might want, and especially specialties bars. We've got a, racks full of specialty bars at this point in time, but a lot of us, like Tommy and myself included, we end up just using the power bar. I mean, we get the specialty bars and we'll use them for a while and they get a run and they all serve their purpose and maybe they're good around injuries and stuff like that. But a lot of us, it's just hard to get away from using a good old power bar.
Yeah. And like for me, one of the things because I think it also depends on if you compete or not, which I know you guys do. But like for me, if I'm training in a federation that only uses a power bar like the USAPL,
right?
Like if at any time, like I wanted to go and switch to a deadlift bar, I could immediately pull more on that deadlift bar than I could a stiff bar. But if it's the opposite, where I'm training on a deadlift bar and then I say, I'm just going to work this, competition style power bar in, like my deadlift will probably go down because it's just harder to pull on that stiff bar. So I feel I get more out of that. And again, it's easy enough to use. And even though I have a ton of specialty bars here in my gym myself, I tend to find that I use a power bar for most things just because I like it.
Yep. When we were talking about your YouTube channel and some of the changes over time, when we were doing a little homework getting ready for this episode, I was looking at some of the earliest stuff. And
is that you guys commented on the video like yesterday?
don't we'll get to that. We'll get to that. That isn't this yet. So yes, that's what was going on there. But I noticed something about like a name change or maybe not even a name change. It was like a channel change. And this would be like very, like 10 years ago. And I was confused. I was trying to figure out what was the old channel and what is like, there was a piece of the puzzle I was missing there, I think, because that was pre me following along. So what was the evolution in the very beginning?
Yeah. So the name of my channel initially was Campbell Fitness. And at the time of creating my channel, YouTube, so I think it was like 2009 or something where I made my channel. YouTube wasn't as socially accepted as it is today. So like if you if you told someone you had a YouTube channel, they're like, you're weird. Why? Like, why do you have that? And then especially like when it's like lifting oriented and some of those earlier videos, you can still even see some of it. I got rid of most of them, but I'm wearing like tank top, like baseball hats backwards and basketball jerseys. There's a couple shirtless videos, which are no longer in existence, I don't think. But I didn't want people like that I knew to find that. So I used just my middle name, which is Campbell. And fitness was just like what a lot of the other YouTube people were doing in terms of their channel names. So I thought I was being pretty sneaky. So it was Campbell Fitness for a long time. But then as it started to gain popularity, like people just assumed my last name was Campbell.
Yeah.
And I was like, no, that's not. It's Diamond is my last name. Campbell's my middle name. Like, nah, you're Brandon Campbell. And people still call me that, which is fine. But then I wanted to get away from that because when I first started the channel, my grand vision was, hey, I'm going to start like this company or have this company. It's going to be this brand. But as I got into it, I'm trying to come off more as I'm just a dude in his basement that likes to lift and just talk about equipment. So I try to just be an individual. So that's why it's Basement Brandon now instead of some company name. And that's why I don't do a ton of shirts or banners. Or if I do banners, I only sell them through the Massenomics store, by the way.
Absolutely. Excellent plug.
But I didn't want to get into that where I'm just pushing a bunch of stuff because I don't view myself or my channel as that. So,
but what about even early? Was it Campbell Fitness TV or was there some other?
Oh yeah. So
was there something even prior to that I couldn't quite pick up on?
So there was the Campbell Fitness that came out first, and then my AdSense for Google got disabled for something. I don't know what it was. So I stood up another channel called Campbell Fitness TV just because it's close enough to it. Yeah. And then that evolved into, I think, Base Barbell for a couple of months, and then eventually Basement Brandon. So it's been probably one of those four.
Okay. All right. Now we have
the timeline is
I don't know if you know what we're doing here, but we're developing a timeline a la the Texas Power Bar timeline that we love so much. So we can get this produced soon.
That's right. But the multiverse of Basement Brandon. There's a couple different.
Yes, exactly. Are you familiar at all with our overrated, underrated game?
I am very familiar. I live it.
As a matter of fact, we've done this before, haven't we?
Deja vu.
If we did all the same topics as the first time, do you think you would even realize that they were the same as the first time?
I think I would.
Okay.
I think so.
We didn't do that, at least not intentionally. So
a new handcrafted batch here.
Yes. Yeah. Okay, so overrated or underrated? George Foreman grills.
Oh, hey now. So depending on when we're looking at in the timeline, I would say now they are overrated.
Can you even get them anymore?
I don't. I think you can, because surprisingly enough, I know that video you guys are talking about. I still get like a comment a week on that video. So
it had a lot of. It was in like your top 10 of all time viewed videos, I think.
And most of the comments are angry people saying, "This isn't how you clean it. This isn't what you do."
That's exactly what I told Tommy when we were talking about it. I was like, everyone is mad at him that it's the title is that they're saying the title is wrong. I'm like, who's. I just
wait. You're telling me that titles don't align to YouTube content?
Exactly. Yes. Could you explain the video though? So people are going to be curious now.
Yeah. So I had a George Foreman grill, like I'm sure most of us did at one point in our lives, especially if you're living that bro life with chicken and rice.
Yep.
And one of the biggest pain in the asses is cleaning that thing, especially like scraping it off, doing whatever. So I made a video on how to clean a George Foreman grill, but in reality it was, hey, just put tinfoil over the grill pieces as you cook it. And then when you're done, just take the tinfoil off, throw it away, and your grill's nice and clean. It didn't get dirty in the first place.
That it is a good bachelor hack, if you ask me. I did not implement that, but having seen it, I think it would have been a good practice.
What year do you think peak George Foreman grill was?
I think that video was probably made at the tail end of that. So I think that video was from like 2013 or something.
I would say
I'm saying peak is like 2006.
That's what I was going to say right in there.
That's like where it really was. You couldn't not have a George Foreman grill.
Yeah. So I was definitely at the end of that bell curve, but obviously the video still did well, surprisingly. But then again, I feel like a lot of videos back then did really well. Like, I don't know if you can still find, like, I did a video on how to fold the brim of a hat or how to cut off sleeves on a t-shirt for the gym. And those videos were really popular. People are like, oh, thanks, I needed this. I'm like, really?
Do you don't really, maybe I'm wrong, but you don't really put anything like that out anymore, right? I mean, like I can't recall you having a video kind of like something like that as of recent.
Yeah, I don't, only because I think the biggest thing for me has been not only like the plethora of backlog of equipment stuff that I need to review, but also when I was making those videos, I was dating my now wife at the time, didn't have kids, at a job that was like really easy. I want to say like I didn't really have to do much for it. So I had like a ton of time and I was banging out like, 3-4 videos a week. Whereas now, like, I have to struggle just to do one video. And my time or free time to make videos is very sparse. So like, that's why a lot of it are like in the gym. Cause like I'll film those equipment reviews or those training logs, like literally during my training, or right after my training when I'm already down here. And that's one of the reasons I've tried to get really good about just having like a talk track start and finish without any kind of cuts or edits or anything like that. Just because I can turn around in the editing process immediately. So I would like to get back to some other content, but it's just one of those things where I'm trying to get rid of some of the big backlog that I have.
So I guess my takeaway from that is that there's a whole library of Brandon Campbell diamond life hacks out there, and we just got to wait till maybe get them someday.
Yeah. Oh, I got a lot. I got some cooking for you boys.
Okay, good.
They're all going to be based around stall mats.
I do not want to move any more of those. Okay. Overrated or underrated? We'll go the Inzer Ergo Pro knee sleeves.
Yeah. So I would say that those are overrated. And I've done a video on this, which I know you guys have already watched because you watch all my videos. I know
we do. We have seen it.
I do think they give probably some more in a squat. To me, you can't put an actual number on it. Like some people say, oh, they add 5 pounds, 20 pounds, 50 pounds to your max. But it's like, if you recall when those SBD sleeves first came out, back before when everyone was rocking those blue Ray-Bans, those like the only knee sleeves you could get. The SBDs came out and everyone's like, oh, bro, these add 15, 20, 50 pounds. And the same thing with those blue Ray-Bans when they came out. Oh, you got to get these blue ones, but when you buy them on Amazon, make sure you buy 2 because they only sell them in single.
Yeah. Well, weren't those basically all coming through Brad Gillingham at that point in time then?
The Jackal's gym for a long time. But
And it's like one of those things where it's like, enough's enough. Yeah, they probably add a little bit more, but if I feel like if you get any real, not any real, but a lot of the regulation knee sleeves, the 7 millimeter thickness, a certain length, certain cut, sized correctly, I don't believe that the Inzers will give you that much more necessarily. So I think overrated because of that reason, and the fact that like after shipping they're like $170, and if you buy from Inzer directly, it takes like 8 weeks to get them. So overrated.
Okay.
Crazy they still haven't got that down at all.
You're a little bit older than both of us. I think that's true, right? That's true. I think yes, that's a fact. So you'll remember this well. So overrated or underrated? The dude, you're getting Adele ad campaign.
So I think you guys know that I work for Adele now.
What do you mean?
So, and it's funny because we just had like probably a couple months ago, we had like our yearly, rah rah sis boom bah kickoff, and they brought him back like internally.
Oh, was it Steven? Was that his
yeah,
name? They brought back Steven, huh?
Yeah, and I think he'd been like, working as a barista in Starbucks.
He was like, "Thank God, I've been waiting for this."
Dude, you got a job. I would say kind of underrated at the time. I enjoyed those commercials back then. Like now they look pretty bad, but
right.
I think those led into like eventually what was, if you remember, then the Mac had commercials, kind of in a similar vein, and then it kind of played from there. So I'm going to say underrated, and mostly because that company pays most of my bills. So,
but also, how many
put,
PC
put
commercials?
Put some respect on his name. Come on.
It is fair though that is a pretty iconic ad campaign. Whoever came up with that, that was a home run, no doubt. Grand slam, even. Okay, Brandon, you still there?
No, I'm still there.
Oh, okay.
I'm just moment of silence for that guy's career.
Yes. Okay. Yes. Perfect. Okay. Last one here then. Overrated or underrated? The Chevy Trail Boss package.
Oh, hey. So again, relates close to me as I have one. Mine is a pavement princess. I literally just drive it to the dump to get rid of like excess packaging from all the stuff that gets sent to me between pallets and cardboard and all this other styrofoam stuff. I would actually say it is overrated. I would say that because to make it a really good off-road vehicle, there's a bunch more mods you need to do. So I've already put a lot more money into it, from, changing out the shocks, changing out the wheels, doing a bunch of stuff, and probably should have just spent more money on a nicer truck to begin with. Not to say that it's not a nice truck. But trucks these days, I think I got in at the wrong time, because if I bought a truck, like 3 or 4 years ago, I probably would have paid like 20 grand less for the exact same thing. But it's good. It's more of like a family vehicle now. Those full-size trucks have really big back seats. So fitting like two of my kids' car seats back there and taking it on road trips, they seem to like it. So I'd still say overrated, because I probably spent too much on something that literally, I was just texting one of my friends today. I've had it for, I think, almost a year and a half, and I've put 4,000 miles on it. So.
Oh, wow. That's really low.
So how did you decide on like the Trail Boss versus like a Raptor or maybe even something crazier like TRX or something?
Yeah, well, Raptor and TRX probably in today's market probably go for like 40 grand more than the Trail Boss.
Yeah, right. True.
Trail Boss is literally just like a Silverado with some decals slapped on it.
Yeah.
And I probably would have preferred either of those two, but literally there is a Chevy dealership 20 feet from my house. So I could just walk there, and I saw it, and I was like, as you can probably tell by my gym buying experiences, like I just buy a bunch of stuff. I was just like, oh, maybe I need a new truck.
Yeah.
Sure. So it just kind of happened like that. And it was one of those circumstances where they had one in stock that I liked and made the decision.
Did your gym aesthetic influence at all in any way your truck buying decisions
and modification process?
So no, not really. So before that, I did have another white vehicle which I liked. And when I went to the dealership initially, I went in with the possibilities of like 3 different colors that I would have liked, white being one, like a dark gray metallic being another, and then like a dark blue metallic being the third. My wife said no for the blue, and since she's the boss, that's okay. And they just didn't have any of the dark gray, so I was like, white it is, and now it just matches, and now I look like an even bigger douche. Cool.
Well, I think it's a sharp unit. It's no Buick LeSabre, but then again, what is?
Ooh, that's true. Or an Enclave.
Now that's talking about a family vehicle. Excellent. It looks like you passed overrated, underrated. So that you're 2 for 2 on that now, actually.
Yes.
Here's one really quick bonus: overrated, underrated. This isn't officially part of the game, but it seems particularly relevant today. Overrated or underrated Keith Honeycutt?
Oh, who? Who's that?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I suppose that's the answer then, right?
I think that's somebody that I used to know.
Very good post on that. We both got a good chuckle out of that one.
Done.
Yeah, I have no issues losing out to you guys. So
we're 1 for 1,000 or whatever the average is there, so not bad. Yeah, you passed. It was great getting you on again, and I don't know if you mentioned it before, but we talked quite a bit about Juggernaut AI, and just so everyone knows, I think your discount code for that is Massenomics, right?
Yeah, of course. Everything. Any place that you guys ever want to buy something, just always try Massenomics first, and then you'll be in a good spot.
Yep, we say now accepted everywhere things are accepted. Code Massenomics.
Oh, and have you used your supporting membership discount card anywhere? Your Massenomics discount card to save you? Anywhere?
I mean, I've tried to use it. Surprisingly, it's one of those things where most merchants say they don't want to pay the associated fees with using that card.
Yep.
It's more of my bougie shopping experiences on Rodeo where I break it out to really impress the ladies. So.
That makes a lot of sense. That makes total sense, actually. Okay, and what about if people do want to, I know you said it's not your main thing, but it helps you buy more gym equipment and do other stuff like that. What about if people do want to, support you through affiliate links and stuff like that? What is actually the best way for someone to do something like that?
Yeah, I mean, the best way is just, to be honest, don't do it. Use Massenomics if possible, and then if not, find some athlete. But if people want to see my stuff or watch my videos, Instagram is Basement Brandon, YouTube is Basement Brandon. I usually will put links in there, but I try not to push them necessarily, just because again, I don't want to come off as a salesman. But if one of my videos or one of my posts helps you, then I'll usually try to link at least back to that. And then if that helps, then it helps, and if it doesn't help, then go screw yourself.
Awesome. Well, we appreciate it, Brandon.
Thanks a lot, Brandon.
Hey guys, thanks for the time. I appreciate you guys.
Let us know if you're ever in Western Northeast South Dakota. We'll give you a free day pass at the gym.
It's on my hotspot list of 2023.
Will we see you at the Arnold this next year?
I hope so.
Okay.
I'll be sleeping under your booth table.
Yep.
So
perfect. We'll set up a spot for you. Maybe we'll be right next to Grant at the strength.
While you're sleeping, we'll set up a line for a meet and greet. So when you wake up, there'll just be all these people ready to talk to you.
I can't wait to meet all three of them.
Excellent. Well, hopefully see you there.
All right, guys.
All right. See ya.
See ya.
Thanks. Bye.
Cool beans.
Meet all three of them.
Were those Rhode Island cool beans?
Those were very Rhode Island cool beans.
Yeah. They like their beans cool up there in Rhode Island.
They're miniature beans because the state's so small. They're just not a lot
tiny
of room.
little beans.
They're tiny little beans.
Did you know you could actually fit? This is a geographic fact right here. You can fit the state of Rhode Island inside of Aberdeen, South Dakota.
No. I didn't know. Maybe you meant like the county.
No. I wanted to make sure it was obvious that it's not in that. You can fit the state of Rhode Island within Western Northeast South Dakota.
I was going to say it probably fits within the Northeast South Dakota region, maybe.
Yeah. If you said Northeast, if you're saying a quarter of the state,
yeah, that'd be. I mean, that's Northeast South Dakota is a couple 100 miles across, but that's not that big.
It brings up a point. If you
just miles across is Rhode Island.
And also, so if someone just says the northeast of South Dakota, are we considering that the corner of the state, as in 1/4 of the state?
Oh, well, if you're really going that far, that's okay. Do you know how far across Rhode Island is though? East to west.
East to west. And it is more east to west than north to south.
North to south is more. We'll get to that next.
You're east to west. Okay. I'm just thinking if, would it be as little as 50 miles?
Well, do you want to know, or is that your guess?
My guess is that seems really low, but I'm going to say 70 miles.
It's less.
Less. Okay. 40?
Less.
What? No.
37.
Holy crap.
That's nothing.
That's insane.
That is actually smaller than Northeast South Dakota.
Yeah. Holy cow.
And then
I did not actually know.
North to south is 48 miles. So really, Rhode Island would fit easily in Northeast South Dakota. However you slice that.
That almost fits in what you could almost consider Western Northeast South Dakota.
It pretty much does.
Because if you're saying basically 35 by 50.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's just about within. I mean, I think it pushes the borders a little bit, but not by that much.
Not much.
That's crazy.
That is. Wow.
I was going to say 50 at first, and I'm like, the 50, because I think of it in terms of where you travel here on an any given day basis. I'm like, you go 40 miles just like getting anywhere.
You have to go basically 45 to hit a town.
Yeah.
And even then, the town you're hitting is like 1,000 people.
It's like they might have a Subway.
Yeah, and then a gas station.
Yeah.
That's it. Wow. 37 miles across. That's crazy.
Huh. The more you know.
The more you know. Amazing stuff.
What is the second half of that? The more you know what?
There is no second half. You just know.
Okay. Good interview with Basement Brandon, though.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun.
That was good stuff. Good catching up with him. And we really have, we've said this a number of times over the year, but, I can speak for myself that I have really, he is one of the first people I ever followed, lifting content of. And he's one of the few that I continue to follow.
The number of people that I keep tabs on from when I first started watching lifting stuff on YouTube. He is the only one that I even, no one else, I even remotely pay attention to what they got going on.
No. He is the only
Mark
one.
Bell exists in my Instagram. If it wasn't for Instagram, I wouldn't even know that Mark Bell's a thing anymore.
That's true. And I could just about delete him on there. And
Yes.
not mind, I guess.
Sometimes I got to see what this crazy bastard's up to. That's almost what it is.
Yeah. Yes. Alan Thrall is one guy that I continue to watch, but to be fair, I wasn't following Alan as early on.
He was a little later on before I became aware of him.
But I do continue to really appreciate Alan's stuff as well. I think I probably said the same thing back when we had Brandon on a few years ago. Even I probably said that same thing, and it's still true. He's one of the he is just like what you said. He is the only one I continue to follow that I followed
from that era.
Yeah, and I'm talking way pre Massenomics.
This is we're talking
2012, 13, something like that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Right when those hard-hitting George Foreman tips were coming out.
I don't remember
that's
the George
what he
Foreman.
hooked you with.
Yeah, yeah.
And then
he reeled you in with the George Foreman.
Reels you in with
grill.
the George Foreman. He keeps you around with the equipment reviews.
Right.
In that conversation with him, you did say something about Buick, and that reminded me. You are a Buick man, Tanner.
That's true.
I feel like there's a certain Buick model that doesn't get a whole lot of love, and I want to know what comes to mind when I say this to you. The Buick Terraza.
I would have to see a picture, honestly. What comes to mind is nothing. Is that a van?
It's the Buick van. Now,
when did they make that?
You know what's kind of amazing about this? The model years are 2005 to 2007.
Okay.
What's kind of amazing?
There's 50 ever made.
In 2008, there was only 500 of those things made. 2005 was a pretty big year. There was 20,000 of them, but most year, 2,000 the first year, 20,000 the second, 11,000, 5,000, 500. Its whole lifespan, 45,000.
I feel like I've never seen that thing before.
So it's a pretty rare van, and in its entire life, 45,000 were made. And I didn't know about this until I saw some video one time saying if you see one of those, it's kind of a rarity.
Yeah.
It was like a week ago. I was at the grocery store and there was one of those. I had to do a double check, and I'm
so it had the Buick logo on
it. It was a Buick Terraza van, and I'm I have to be the only person
that even is aware that
has been did a double check for a Buick van, and I so thought about taking a picture of it. I'm actually, just to explain to someone why I had to take a picture of this would be just so far out there. So
yeah, you should have staked out the person and
well, and then when I came out of the grocery store, I'm no, I'm gonna take a picture of this. I gotta show it to Tanner.
Yeah,
and then by that point, it was gone. It did have a handicap sticker on it, though, so it was,
but do you think now in hindsight, was it ever really there?
Maybe I just thought it was there. I wanted it to be there so bad, and it actually wasn't.
I mentioned something else earlier that I wanted to fill you more in now, so I'm going to do that now.
Okay.
Company.
Right now.
This is the Strength Company. We've set out to build a better barbell plate on American soil. We ended up here at Wisconsin's legendary Wapaka Foundry. With over 60 years of ironworking experience, the foundry had the knowledge, technology, and processes to build our weights to our exact specifications. The Strength Company plates are slim but rugged, smooth but easy to grip, and electro-coated for durability and to look great in your gym. This is the next generation of American iron. Only available from the Strength Company.
How many times would you say you've watched that just today?
I usually watch it every time I'm taking a dump. So 8 times today. It was one of those days.
Yeah. Pooping on company time. Tell me about it.
You're your own boss.
Yeah.
You're not getting one over on anyone.
No.
But I am.
Should I read one of these now, or should we wait? We can wait. We got plenty to talk about still, don't we?
Yeah, I think so. The only other thing I was going to mention on the Strength Co. is that big Brandon, also a connoisseur user of the Strength Co. plates. I'm sure he's got a review or two out on the Strength Co. plates too.
Probably. I mean, we have a review in case people are wondering.
That's true.
Look up ours too.
It's really the only review you ever need. That's why we just have one. It's the only one you really need.
We made one review and we're like, it's not going to get any better than this.
No, we're going out on top.
Yeah. So we left it at that.
Yeah. Topic wise, though, we did have a couple other things on the list.
Well, we have our long-awaited Stocks and Socks segment.
Yeah.
People are tuning in this week just to hear it, and then we made them wait.
That's true. So the stocks portion of it, what you had a note in here about fitness company stocks.
So I was not aware of this. It was brought up in the Discord. This is another one of those gems where if you're in the Massenomics Discord, you have known about this for weeks now. But the Peloton stock is amazing.
Yeah.
It is incredible looking at
the history.
Here, let's get some actual numbers here so people don't.
Caveat to this is not financial advice.
God, do not take financial stock advice from us. That'd be the worst thing ever. So the summary is, what was the summary, Tanner? Didn't know you could have such a
I never knew you could crash so hard on a stationary bike.
And then behind that it goes the story of Peloton bikes. It'll be a book.
Semicolon.
Yeah. It'll be a book that comes out.
Yeah.
Didn't know you could crash. So I couldn't remember if it was that or I didn't know you could ride a stationary bike downhill.
That's too.
But yeah, so at their peak, with COVID and all, it looks like
with everything going on.
Yeah, with everything going on. It looks like around December 2020, January 2021, their stock was floating anywhere between 158 and about $150, 140 a share. So, okay, not bad.
So if you got in then,
you might not want to listen to this next part. But so yeah, we'll just say around 150 is their peak. Today they're trading at $9.
That's a
$9.
Crash. Yeah.
$9.
Yeah.
And it's basically they fell off a cliff once November of this. In October, they went from 91 to a week later, they were down to 55, and it's just been down ever since. And I think the amazing quote was their CEO said they're trying to get profitable so they can go public. It's like,
well, that must have been Tonal.
Oh,
they were following the that must have been
Tonal.
because they're public.
Tonal.
So that must have been Tonal because there was two.
You're right.
Conversations.
I'm jumping ahead in the conversation. We're gonna get to Tonal next, but Peloton. So yeah, they're taking a huge tank because the COVID stuff isn't going on. So, you mean the fitness industry is fickle and isn't like anything's never for certain? Yeah, 100%. And then
being having a profitable business eventually is important. Like you can't just have like a good idea and a product that could be good, or eventually, your business does have to be a profitable business.
And they said they'd invested all this money into, I believe actually they were manufacturing their own bikes, and I think they were manufacturing their own bikes, and they were about to invest a bunch into helping that manufacturing process. Yeah. And then they see that is not where the money's at. So it looks like they are outsourcing that part now to a different manufacturer.
Well, they're probably panicking
those
now.
Bikes are like $4,000 too. It's insane.
I bet right now they're like, oh my God, they're gonna, the ship's burning. They're trying to do anything they could to salvage it, I would think at this point.
So yeah, Peloton to outsource all manufacturing as part of its turnaround efforts. And yeah, there's all types of things that right here, I guess I'm jumping ahead a little bit, but this headline right here: Peloton competitor Tonal cuts 35% of its workforce as it prepares for a possible recession and IPO. But I don't know. It's just these things. Peloton, and we didn't ask Brandon about it. We forgot to ask him.
He has the Peloton.
I know. We forgot to ask him. But I don't know. I don't know if the number of people that can afford a $4,000 bike, and then isn't it like $50 a month for the subscription?
Yeah, I think that's kind of the kicker to me, really.
Like so it's a relatively small pool already. For one, the people that can afford that and then want to afford that, and then are also interested in riding bike. Like it's going to be a small pool. It's just. It'll be interesting to see how that company survives or what that company looks like a year, 2, 3 years from now, even.
Yeah, the tech stuff is
because you have to have so much invested into it on the tech side of things.
Right.
It's not just, hey, here's your bike, go, and we're in the business of just selling bikes. Like, because they got to continually. I don't 100% know how Peloton works, but I would assume when you're paying a subscription, it means that they have to pump out new content and new programs and new workouts. Sure. Otherwise, what the hell are you paying for if this is all 100% just a canned library here?
And I know I'm not everyone. I'm probably far from everyone, but just my habits as a consumer, I can wrap my head around a big initial price tag on something if it's really what I want. Mm-hmm. The monthly subscription part of things, and I know I'm not in the norm on this probably, but like that really is hard for me to get over because I think about it in terms of it's just $40, it's just $20, it's just $50. Every time you do that, your pool of monthly subscriptions and I know I don't think about this the same as everyone. I'm cheaper than other people, or I'm more conscious of this than average, but I'm like, that is adding, even if it's just a $4 a month subscription. I think about that in terms of, if I just justify everyone as just a single, well, it's only $4, it's only $10, it's only $15.
But it's to the point where life is just a giant subscription now. Like you could make the argument that, well, that's kind of what life is, but it really is like, okay, you got your house, you have internet, you have a cell phone, you have utility bills, you might have cable. You might have one streaming service. You might have 2, 3, or 4 streaming services. Yeah. You also might have a music streaming service.
A music one, yes.
And then you have a Peloton subscription. You have a Tonal subscription. Yeah. And we just said I haven't really said anything out there that's that weird outside of the Peloton or Tonal.
Right.
Most people have a lot of the other things you said there.
Yeah.
And then you might have a gym subscription. And you have your car subscription, which is your car payment that a lot of people never lose.
Right.
You have your insurance payments. It's just an endless list of things constantly coming out all the time. And then you have all these fitness companies jumping on that train too.
Yeah. And I'm not the market, obviously. I'm not the market on that stuff. So it's easy for me to say that it isn't appealing to me. But the subscription thing gets me though. Like I don't want to pay $40 I don't even know what the price of it is monthly,
and then you also wonder, do you buy?
And what if you stop?
There's someone that has a Peloton that knows all these answers, but that's what I want to know. So I buy this $3,000 to $4,000 bike, whatever it is. If I quit my subscription, do I just have a dumb bike there that does nothing anymore? Mm-hmm. I'm assuming I can still turn the pedals. I can't imagine they're locking the pedals out, but is that it? Like you don't pay anything. You don't have you can't even say, oh, I just need these 20 classes. I'll just buy these, keep these on repeat, and I'm good. Or is it no subscription, no nothing?
Yeah.
I don't know how that works. But fitness is a little different in that it's not. Yeah, people. Obviously they don't have it figured out, and the industry doesn't have it figured out because Tonal is the next thing. And really, if I had to think about it, isn't Tonal just a Bowflex with a subscription? Isn't that essentially what it is?
That's, the selling point of Tonal is the smart tech stuff, right? Because as far as an actual piece of resistance training equipment, isn't it? It seems like crap to me. We're used to good.
And as far as that goes, and if you just want to say it's the total home all-in-one gym that you can.
Well, that's crap. But those aren't good pieces of equipment.
But isn't that exactly what Bowflex did? In the early. Late 90s, early 2000s. Isn't that what that was? You could do your lat pull downs on it, and then you could string it through the bottom and do a weird modified deadlift, and you could lay on a bench. And wasn't that exactly what that is? And people don't buy those anymore.
Well, and here's my thing. In theory, honest question, do you think someone could get big and strong if they only have a Bowflex?
Well, it depends on what you actually consider big and strong. That's very relative.
True. And I guess at the best you could say they could get, if they're relatively untrained, they could use that solely and probably, get stronger for sure. Maybe look a little bit better, probably. But at its do you think how many people in the world actually got strong or big, or did any of what the Bowflex advertises?
So
with
few.
The Bowflex?
Well, that's the reason you don't see them everywhere,
Right.
because it's just a Bowflex in a new package. I can't help but think that it's just your all-in-one home gym that you do. Like the Bowflex came with a VHS tape.
Yeah.
And now this comes
This
with
is
an
just
app
the
that
current
you pay
technology.
So it says inside the tonal, electromagnets create resistance, so you can push and pull up to a maximum of 200 pounds combined, or 100 pounds per arm. Now, 100 pounds per arm is a lot per arm.
Depending on what you're doing.
Depending on
Not maybe if it's a deadlift.
Yeah,
but,
depending on what you're... per arm, like if you're doing an isolated one arm exercise, 100 pounds is
if you're doing a
almost
curl.
always a lot. But as far as like weight training, 200 pounds isn't that much.
Right.
Like most people in an untrained state can get to a point where they're doing 200 pounds fairly
especially on
quickly.
something like that's utilizing your lower body, your
exactly. So
your back, your legs, your glutes, your hammies.
yeah, and so you're not going to be at a point where you're exhausting yourself from a strength standpoint. So the only way to get around that is, I guess, you just have to add a shit ton of reps in.
But I think we all know that that's not the
Well,
that's not how you get strong. Right.
Yeah, and you're not going to turn into you're not going to get good at bench. But that's the other thing. We're not the customer. We're not the target audience. We're not the customer, because
at all.
We're actually concerned about just lifting weights, getting actually strong, and not just being obsessed with being in my home with this like smart wall trainer thing. It's just so not in the way I think about things.
That is just you can't even look at it on an unbiased way, because
it can't.
Well, but part of it is because we know fitness gimmicks. We're so involved in the industry that we know what things are gimmicks, and
it doesn't just feel like the same stuff we've been through for the last 30 years, but like, but now but now you pay a subscription and it's different now. It's like, I don't know. There's magnets in it. So
in comparison, to me, Peloton feels like way less of a gimmick than the Tonal, because they both share that they're tech, but a bike is not a gimmick. A stationary bike serves a purpose in someone's greater fitness goals.
Yeah.
The Tonal, that's gimmicky, because people don't get how many people get results off of that. Not take the tech out of it, just like that form of crap.
And even
that's
if
crap.
And if you don't want to say it's gimmicky, because at the end of the day, there's 200 pounds of weight there and you can lift. Okay,
right.
You can get a workout in, but it's a really expensive way of doing that, isn't it? Like, it's also the price. Not only do you I'm going to find out right now. What is the Tonal monthly cost?
That's there again. The subscription really gets me, where I'm like,
because it'd be one thing if you just bought the Tonal. I'm actually very curious with Tonal. Does that thing work without a subscription? Like,
right?
Like, it wouldn't surprise me with this tech of like, oh no, you're just locked out when you don't have a Tonal monthly fee, $50 a month. So it is just the cost of a gym. Like, it just is a gym at that point. I don't get it. And I think intelligence features, like, how much intelligence is actually going on with that thing? I don't understand.
I am curious what you can do with it once your membership is Tonal membership is required for the first 12 months. As a connected fitness sim, Tonal was designed to be your intelligent home gym, and the Tonal membership unlocks the personalization and is key to Tonal's intelligence. So that doesn't answer the question at all.
That's what
it's required for the first 12 months.
So yeah, so it's just $600 on top of whatever you're paying for the thing.
Right. Yeah, I'm only finding things through Tonal, which it doesn't give you the answer. Like, I want someone's opinion of, like, they bought this and then they got rid of the subscription. What does it do for me then?
Oh, but right here. There's a question on Reddit. What's Tonal like without a subscription? It is funny. The other thing was rant. Tonal is not worth the price on this Reddit thread. But what exactly do you lose keep? I can't justify paying $600 every year to use a machine that I spent $3,400 on. This person says most of its value comes from the plethora of coaches and programs. Without it, it's just a smart weight machine that has eccentric chains, smart and spotter mode that counts your reps and keeps a logbook. It's like, you don't need to pay $50 a month to have something count my reps and keep a logbook for me.
To count.
Without subscription, all you
10.
basically get are dumbbells. You don't even get the smart weight settings. All you get to do is select a weight, turn the weight on and off, and that's it. So it's a Bowflex. It's a Bowflex.
Yeah.
It's a Bowflex.
Without a subscription, it really is a
it is a
Bowflex
Bowflex.
at that point. Yeah.
Yeah. if you're somehow a person that listens to this and owns a tonal and you're got in shape, that's great for you, but it just does not speak to the way we think about things.
If you are a person that
and
had
also,
great
how did you
results from a
find
tonal,
us?
yeah, like what led you to this path?
Yeah, why are you listening to us at all? I just see it's such a weird. It's just right back to the does it fit under the bed fitness test, right?
Yes, the tonal fits under the bed, doesn't it?
Like now with people having investments in companies, and you can get like venture money. You don't have to worry about infomercials. So now, you can make an app, and you have a more sleek appearance.
Well, and it's tech, so it's a
exactly.
sophisticated company.
20 years ago, this is just an infomercial that's on from 10 p.m. till noon on Sunday.
No, but now, you're exactly right. It's a Silicon Valley.
You have venture capitalists that, okay, here's $50 million for your round
with
of
the goal of
funding.
making it public, which
to make it public,
But
I'm
like,
were they ever worried about going public? Are they even public?
And it's just, this is a bigger picture about business, how it works, but it's like, okay, yeah, we want to go public, so we're really going to focus on being profitable now. I'm like, that's also just a funny concept. Yeah, it's like,
you know what business is profitable? Massenomics.
That's true.
Are we going to go public? Nope.
Not yet. We don't need you. We don't need your public dollars. Keep it private.
Shareholders, we will not.
We're not cutting other people on a share of those
There'll be no
lift shorts.
Here.
Yeah. So that was our stocks and sock. Well, that was really our stock segment.
So what's the sock segment? I don't know what the sock segment is.
Sock segment is a little less in depth than the stocks part of it, but it still was a catchy name, right?
Stocks and socks, baby.
So my socks thing, and this is just a personal experience on socks. And I want to preface it by saying I have socks in my sock collection that were government issued to me in 2006 that I still have in my sock collection.
Really?
This is not the segment, but it's relevant information for what I'm going to get into here.
All right. So, okay, that is hilarious.
Yeah.
I was going to say as a life tip, something that I've started to do and I would recommend to anyone, now that I'm not 21 and I have a slightly more disposable income, what I do
rotate them out.
Once I do once every 2 years, just to make sure, I just throw away all of my socks and usually almost all of my underwear. And I just I pick a day and it's all gone and all new stuff goes in. And you're kind of like, damn, this is what new socks feel like. Even after only 2 years, it's like, wow, this is pretty cool. So, I would recommend if you feel like you're at the point in your life you can do that. Pick the day, have the replacements ready to go, but throw all the other ones out, and then you only have good ones. You don't have to worry about mismatchers existing or
holes.
Or you get the same brand, but you mix a new one with an old one. So one sock's kind of cushy and soft.
Yeah.
The other one's full of holes. No, you're on the same page for everything. It's amazing.
Yeah. No, but my comment isn't even about that. It's more about trend in socks.
Oh, yeah.
When I was in high school, it was a race to the bottom on socks.
Oh, yeah.
And what I mean by that is people couldn't, this started in about 2002 is when I really started to pick up on it. People could not get their socks low enough on the back of their heel.
Mm-hmm.
Literally, people were... I'm pointing to you, but the end of their sock would go there.
Just barely over. Yeah.
And I'm like, that doesn't stay on. I had some no-shows, like extreme no-shows because, I don't know, it's just stupid stuff that people are doing at the time. So I thought I should need to do it. And those are not, I'm not convinced that those are good socks. Those extreme no-shows.
That's too much.
And people at basketball practice, that's what they were wearing is those extreme no-show socks. And that was it was literally a race to the bottom. I remember
Actually,
the socks
everything was going down. The shorts were going lower and lower. The socks were going lower. Everything was going down.
And I jumped in on it. I was probably a little slower to adopt it, but I jumped in on them going down. And then I stayed low. Now, I didn't stay that low, but I stayed ankle length for a long time. And for a long time, that was kind of the most commonly. I'm speaking about athletic socks.
Like a no-show.
Right.
Pretty standard.
And then crew socks, I don't know when, but at some point in time, they became way 2005, I graduated high school, and then in through college, people were still wearing a lot of ankle socks. But sometime after that, I don't know what year, of 2010, 2008, 2014, I'm not really sure. But like crew socks, people weren't wearing those. Like when I was like, nobody wore those.
No one.
And then at some point in time, people were wearing those again. And I had like none for the longest time. I got in on them going down, but when they came up to crew, I stayed away from that for the longest time. And when I eventually got in it, I thought, these are a lot more comfortable for me because they never fall off the butt. Like they never, because I wear old socks and short ankle ones, fall down on your heel. Crew socks don't. The most they do is like
get holes.
Yeah, yes.
Or if you have them a really long time, they maybe just don't stay up.
They don't stay up as well as they should. And I was slower to adopt that, but once I did, I really saw the value in the crew socks, the crew length socks. And at some point in time, more recently, I've noticed more people like ankle socks are a little more common again. I just see it more often, and I had never thought about that until I just bought some new socks like a few weeks ago. And I'm like, I have like no ankle socks left in my rotation that are any decent socks whatsoever. So this time when I bought socks, I bought ankle socks because I've noticed at times where I'm like, everyone I've been around is actually wearing ankle socks now. And where if it would have been 7 years ago or 10 or whatever, all those people I'm almost certain would have been wearing crew length socks. And it just seems like...
So I would, for me personally, I think like right now, summertime, you'll see way more ankle socks because people are wearing a lot more. Shorts. It's hot around here. And so like I'll wear way more ankle socks, but starting pretty soon in like a couple months. I basically will not wear these unless all my crew socks are dirty.
Right.
Because it sucks wearing short socks around here after like September.
Yeah.
You know? So then it's like crew season. But I don't know, because also socks have become like a total
more of a
fashion piece too.
Yeah.
Where like that is actually part of the outfit. So no-show socks by definition don't exist. So they can't be part of the outfit. So that's why I don't know. I still think crew socks are pretty fashionable and still around quite a bit.
And they are my favorite by far, crew socks for sure. But the interesting part, I was compelled for whatever reason when I thought, because a few times I've wanted to wear ankle ones. I'm like, I have no serviceable ankle socks left. I've had to literally throw them out because of holes and literally just not staying up on my foot anymore. And I was thinking, there'd been times when I'm like, I should have ankle socks and I don't anymore. And I just got me thinking about it, how I'm like, man, at one point in time, I didn't own a pair of crew socks. Not one. Nor would I have ever worn them. I would have been like, what am I, a doofus?
I don't really remember anyone in high school having them.
No. If you would have showed up to basketball practice in a pair of white crew neck or crew length socks, or even black for that matter. I think
black socks didn't exist.
Yeah, right.
Black socks were dress socks.
That
was pretty much your only option.
You'd have been like, nice socks, bozo. Where'd you get them? The clown store? Although I did start wearing, I got sick. I did wear knee-high socks at some point in time too.
Really?
I switched to that just almost as like specifically for basketball, just almost like as I liked Keith Van Horn. Like there was certain people that wore knee-high socks.
Knee-high socks are kind of annoying though, because it's a lot of sock to deal with, isn't it?
Oh yeah, it is. That's like completely unnecessary. It was more of just like a goofy statement, almost. I think So that was the socks. All
right,
feast. But I still don't think you can beat a good pair of athletic crew socks.
It's pretty hard to.
I have a lot of pairs of dress socks, but most days to work I wear my athletic crew length socks because they're way nicer.
Because it's just an excuse to charge 3 times as much for a worse sock, right?
A thinner, stinkier sock. I'm not really sure.
Like more less comfortable, and then it wears out so fast.
And they somehow, I think, being thinner, like they make your feet sweat more.
yeah. I know what you mean.
Where I'm like, I'd rather like I don't know why people they suck, don't they? I don't know.
They do. I haven't worn dress socks like, I don't know, like 5 years. It's amazing because they suck.
Well, because you can wear a crew length black sock.
Yeah.
And it
and also they make crew length socks in different colors now. So they can pass off so easily as dress socks too.
Right.
So. Socks and stocks, baby.
Socks and stocks. That was well worth the wait, I assume.
I think so.
Did we hit all our advertisements?
Oh, no. We're just getting started.
Okay. This is really what I've been waiting for.
So should I read the advertisements or should I recap the gold drink spotter contest?
Should we go give the rundown on that one more time?
All the scores again. In 1995, Maurice Big Mo Huffman founded Swisslink. He had a partner based in Switzerland, and their mission was to bring authentic Swiss Army goods to the United States and into the hands of those yearning for quality gear at uncompromised prices. Over the years, that mission was expanded to nations across Europe and beyond. Now, for nearly 3 decades, Big Mo has been traveling far and wide in search of the best items for military forces around the world. Big Mo doesn't only find authentic military clothing for Swisslink, he brings in everything you can imagine from Czech Army bedpans to Italian champagne glasses. At Swisslink.com, you can find classic military surplus uniforms, a great selection of military-issue backpacks, tools, wool blankets, NATO fuel cans, gas masks, emergency food, first aid kits, survival packs, camping gear, and so much more. Swisslink's unrivaled collection and dedication to quality customer service sets them apart from the rest. Treat yourself to the real thing with authentic military surplus and save 15% off your first order from Swisslink.com with code MASS, M-A-S-S, at checkout. That's Swisslink.com, SWISSLINK.com. Thank you, Swisslink.
Thanks, Swisslink.
Today's show is also brought to you by Texas Power Bars. Buddy Caps first started lifting weights in the late 60s and began powerlifting in the mid-70s. At the time, he was working for Image Barbell, building gym equipment. Around 1976, a local machine shop started making Olympic bars for them, calling it the Image Bar. In 1977, Image Barbell became Champion Barbell. It was then that Buddy started looking at the bars with an intent of changing them for the better. In 1979, Buddy bought his first lathe to begin addressing the known issues. In 1980, his passion, drive, and purpose now had a greater mission. Buddy set out on his own to make what he believed was the greatest bar he'd ever seen and trained with, and the Texas Power Bar was born. It was strong as a house with the best knurling and was maintenance-free. Hundreds of state, national, international, world, and Massenomics powerlifting records have been and continue to be set and broken on the Texas Power Bar. To learn more about Texas Power Bars and buy one of their legendary bars, visit TexasPowerBars.com. Thank you, sponsors. Tanner, also reading that Swisslink ad. First, I have to laugh every time I see a NATO fuel can pop up in the Discord. It always makes me very happy. And there was some little bit of chatter in there about MREs this past week.
There was a little bit.
There was a
Big
few
Matt,
people with opinions and experience.
Disgusting bastard Big Matt said he likes the veggie omelet. But I was like, they got good confirmation from others that in fact the veggie omelet is disgusting.
That seemed to be the consensus.
Big Matt bringing up a fair point. I think I mentioned it on. It is very much about the sides.
Yeah.
It is funny though. This came in an era pre-social media. We all knew, everyone's in agreement, the veggie omelet is terrible. Or like even though Matt thinks it's not that terrible, he knows like
that's the
so like
common belief.
Like that's how bad it is. Everywhere you would go, even though like there wasn't some central dispatch of information here.
There wasn't a military Discord you guys were sharing your thoughts in.
Like everyone knows the veggie omelet is god awful.
But yet it still exists.
I don't know. I guess it still exists.
I just assumed it did. Maybe.
I hope they got rid of it for the sake of everyone everywhere. For the sake of mankind, I hope they eliminated the veggie omelet. Oh, I thought about it more, and really, that's what it's called. Because I was forgetting it's called the veggie omelet.
See, that's why
when they remember that, it helped me even picture it more and how vile that thing is.
So, what do you know? What vegetables are in that?
Like it looked like peppers. I don't know that anything in that is as advertised is really that thing or not, but looked like like green and red pepper is what you'd kind of guess.
So it was like a Denver omelet.
Yeah, I wouldn't say that. Wouldn't say it was like any piece of food that you're used to.
More like a veggie omelet, I guess.
Yeah, for sure. Rubber is the number one describer of what you could use. It was a oval, rounded piece of rubber. Awful stuff.
Sounds tasty.
Whoever invented that is a sick person. They're like, yeah, people should eat this.
What color was it though? Was the egg yellow at least?
Yeah.
Okay, so at
It
least
was
got that part right.
I think it was a dirty yellow. You know when you make like hard-boiled eggs? Am I thinking hard-boiled eggs? When like you can separate the yolk out of it then, and like the part of the yolk that was touching the white.
Oh yeah.
And that color? I don't like that color. That is not that's not an appetizing color.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I do. Well, sometimes it gets almost like a greenish and a blue color to it too.
Yeah.
Though. What about pickled eggs? Do you ever do you like pickled eggs?
I don't. No, I don't really like them that well. I mean, I could eat one.
Pickled eggs are pretty damn good.
I like. What about deviled eggs?
Oh, deviled eggs are great too.
Oh, okay.
But I thought I thought pickled eggs until I had them sounded pretty disgusting, and really, I mean, a pickled egg does seem pretty disgusting.
Yeah,
but they're not too bad actually.
I would eat one. Yeah, it's not my favorite. Deviled eggs, I could mow through quite a few deviled eggs though. Those are good.
Mm-hmm. You take eggs and then make them. I don't want to say sweet, but you make them even easier to just plow through.
Yeah.
Yeah, not an issue to work through some.
Get a little buffet style party where there's a platter of those, and I could go through.
I haven't had a deviled egg in a very long time either.
We had them for 4th of July. Someone brought them, and
it's been years for me.
They're good.
Oh,
deviled eggs. Like when we say that, do you suppose everyone listening knows? I mean, that's not regional in any way, is it? Or
I feel like that has to be a common thing, right?
Everyone knows a deviled egg then.
I think so. Unless I can't imagine people not knowing what deviled egg is. No, that has to be a common
interesting name. I don't know where the origin is on that. It doesn't feel satanic. The veggie omelet, if anything, should be called.
It doesn't feel satanic, but it is that good. So the deviled omelet.
Do you know what better than sex cake is?
Yeah,
I don't actually know exactly what that is. I just know that term.
Yeah, it's like brown.
Is it good?
I mean, it's good. It's cake. Like cake has to be pretty bad for it to be bad, you know?
Right.
Here,
I'm not that big on cake though.
I just like sweets in general. Like it here. You know, it kind of has that chocolatey, caramely top on it.
Yeah. I'd not.
It's good. I don't think it's like the best thing in the world, but it's fine.
You know what I like, kind of, as far as sweets go? Tiramisu.
Really?
Yeah, because that's the one that has like the coffee flavoring too.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. That's a good tiramisu because I like that flavoring.
Where do you have this at then?
Usually just at like banquet things where they're providing the dessert. I've never ordered it once. So literally strictly at things like that where they're like, oh, what's the dessert? And they're like, tiramisu. And I'm like, yeah, pretty good.
Very bad at spelling it.
I wouldn't even know what. Tea.
Tiramisu. There we go.
I would know the tea.
Coffee flavored Italian dessert.
Yeah. I'm pretty sophisticated.
It's made of lady fingers. Of course it is. Yeah. Can't say I've had any tiramisu lately.
I like the coffee. I like the juxtaposition.
Do you like Heath? Do you like Heath flavored stuff?
Like a Heath bar?
Not so much Heath bar. Like get like a Heath Twister or Blizzard next time you get one. That used to be my favorite because
a Heath bar. A Heath bar is an old man candy bar.
Yeah.
Nobody under 60 is purchasing a Heath bar.
I don't think so. No. But get when you go to the place here down the street, get I used to love Heath flavored like Blizzards. They're the vanilla ice cream with kind of the coffee-ish flavor. It's pretty damn good without going like so overboard on sweetness. Good stuff.
You know what an underrated candy bar to me is?
What?
A whatchamacallit.
Yeah,
I think a whatchamacallit is a good. It has a good combination of texture and
they don't
ingredients.
have the marketing hype behind them.
No,
they're not in the Snickers ball game.
Oh God, they're not like what do you put up in marketing? It's Snickers, Reese's, Twix. Like they're all in this upper.
Yeah, that's actually good.
Echelon.
You said on those. I can't like M&M's. They're not a candy bar.
Yeah, peanut M&Ms.
And then Skittles, but they're not. I'm thinking chocolate here. God, those are kind of the heavy hitters in the chocolate candy game, aren't they?
Do you like a salted nut roll? You know the red packaging salted nut roll. Those are pretty good.
As a kid, I hated those. Now I don't mind them. They're not.
Those
too
are
bad.
good actually.
Because it's not so overboard on sweetness. Is what helps it. I always liked the Charleston Chew. I always thought the Charleston Chew was really good. I thought that was
couldn't
very
even
underrated.
weigh in on the Charleston Chew.
Really?
I can't think of ever having one.
It's good.
Better than a whatchamacallit?
I actually would probably pick a Charleston Chew over a whatchamacallit.
What about, now this is, I don't know that I've ever had one of these. This, to me, growing up felt like another extremely old man was a Nut Good.
Yeah, Nut Goody. Aren't they the... I
that's
see a
in
picture.
like a one package. I have to look at it too.
Yep, I have to see the picture for it to... Yep, that package right there.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't know.
This is actually, that must be a more current package. This is what I picture as the Nut Goody.
It changed.
Yes.
Yes.
That is
that
the
one.
classic
Yep.
Nut Goody.
I don't know if I've honestly ever had one of those. Because, it seems like that's not the... When you have like Butterfinger and stuff out there, I actually like Butterfinger a lot. But when you
Butterfinger, actually, I think Butterfinger is a little underrated.
That is,
I think Butterfinger, like since the '90s, has slipped down the
they had
radar.
the Bart Simpson thing for a
it was
while, didn't
huge.
they? Yeah,
like a Butterfinger, their sales have to be way lower than what they were 25 years ago, right?
I would think my top Stock and Dairy Queen like Blizzard flavors.
Butterfinger is good.
My top 2 of all time. I'll say in my top 3. For sure in there, it's Butterfinger and Oreo. I just cannot beat Butterfinger and Oreo in a Blizzard are so damn good.
I think Butterfinger might be the most underrated candy bar because of how much it fell off. There's something about that thin chocolate coating on top of that.
And also the way that it stays in your teeth for like 5 hours after
you're still enjoying it. Like, it's like your molars no longer have like, they don't fit together
they
anymore.
All have caps on them.
Is it true that nobody lays a finger on my Butterfinger?
So, that is. This says Butterfinger generated sales of $600 million in 2010 and was ranked as one of the most popular candy bars in the world from 2007 to 2010. Yeah. But Nestle sold the candy to Ferrero SPA for $2.8 billion in 2018. So I'm thinking sales got to be down because if you're selling the company, if you're Nestle and you're selling it.
It sounds like someone did lay a finger on Nestle's Butterfinger as when they sold it there. They let someone else's fingers on them. Mm-hmm. Butterfinger, I'm glad you brought that up, though. That's
apparently the recipe has changed a little bit over the years, is what I'm reading here.
How about Kit Kat?
Oh, I like Kit Kat a lot, too.
Give me a break.
Dude, Kit Kats?
Break me off a piece of that.
That's actually what I struggle with at, like, I can go... Like, I don't want to sit and just eat Butterfingers because they do sit in your teeth and it's obnoxious. Like, if you're going to eat Butterfinger, just eat it and you're done. But especially at Halloween time, when you have the little Kit Kats and the little Twix, man, you can just keep kind of funneling those things in and they're so good.
What's better, Twix or Kit Kat? Those are a good comparison, aren't they?
Yeah, I think Twix is.
How about Twix or Reese's Peanut Butter Cups?
I think Twix is. I'm not a huge Reese's. They're good, but
people are pretty high. Like Reese's. People are high on those. Pretty,
I just saw a meme today. It was like, I just love taking the panties off my Reese's, and it's the little paper. It's so stupid. Reese's is fine. I still think I like something with a little crunch in it. You know, Reese's are a little too mushy, maybe.
Yeah.
If I had to have everything be
peanut
perfect.
butter M&Ms are the perfect.
Those
M&M.
are. Actually,
I don't know why those aren't the.
Those are
the star child of the M&M family.
Regular M&Ms are not that good. They're not.
Peanut M&Ms are okay.
Yeah, peanut M&Ms are fine, but peanut butter M&Ms, those are where it's at, hands down.
Is there anyone that doesn't agree that those are the best? Because why are they so much more rare, but yet they taste better?
I don't know. They're better in everything. Like if you put them in ice cream or cookies or brownies or anything, it's always 10 billion times better than if it was regular.
That should be their flagship product.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, that one, hands down, it doesn't even... I think regular M&Ms are the lowest on the tier of... I think it goes peanut butter, peanut, regular.
I never really cared for an almond M&M much. I think those exist.
I
don't know. Maybe I made that up.
Yeah,
did I make that up?
I guess. When I was a kid, I wasn't super huge into almonds, so I would have stayed away from those.
Yeah, almonds just are not a good sounding kid food.
But I do the Blue Diamond chocolate almonds. You get the bag.
Oh yeah,
those are really having.
Are you saying the chocolate dusted?
Yeah, it's like dusted. It's
those are good. Yeah, see, here's the color for almond M&Ms. Does that look familiar?
Kind of. It's kind of recalling something.
Also, old person candy.
Those just like chocolate, cocoa dusted ones. Oh, there's like no sugar. They're so good. Those are my son just thinks that's what chocolate is.
Yeah.
Like, oh man, those things are great. I do think. Have you ever had the Costco ones though? The Costco one, they do a little different take on it.
Because what brand were you? The ones you
Blue
buy
Diamond.
at Walmart? Yeah,
Yeah.
Blue yeah.
The Costco ones are pretty damn good. It's a little different texture. They got sprayed on there.
Okay.
Those are good. And then I just had the Walmart ones like a week ago when I made my trip to Walmart. And there's almost, it's like they have like some type of like brown sugar mixed in there. Something like they have a little different flavor too.
Yeah.
But either way, you can't really go wrong with either of them. Chocolate.
Those are pretty
chocolate
expensive, but they're really good.
Yeah, that bag though at Walmart is so much cheaper than when you buy it at the other place. Like I think the bag at Walmart was like $7.50, and the other grocery store in town here it's almost $12. Like that's a big difference on something like that.
Well, especially if you eat a lot of them. Like I'm actually saving like $20 here.
Hundreds of dollars a year on my almond subscription.
Now I can afford a tonal.
That's right.
Any forgotten candies in that mix that really deserve love?
We didn't really touch on anything of the fruit variety, but
we'll have to save that.
Yeah,
what about in the chocolate candy? You know what I think are nasty? Almond Joy and Mounds both.
See,
I don't throw both of those in the garbage.
Eat those.
They have those are coconut.
I hate coconut candy.
Me too.
I just recently came around to coconut shrimp being okay with that. I didn't like that for the longest time.
But you are aware of the difference between Almond Joy and Mounds?
Barely.
Almond Joy has nuts, Mounds don't. Because sometimes you feel like a nut and sometimes you don't.
Seriously? Is that?
Almond Joys have nuts, Mounds don't. Sometimes you feel like a nut and sometimes you don't.
Do they say that?
Was the catch.
Oh, it was?
Yeah. Otherwise, I think they're basically the same candy bar. It's just as the saying goes.
I'm just one final look here.
If we missed any really top shelf,
I don't want to leave anything out. So
Take 5 is something that was later on, and I'm not considering that because that's not a
forgotten thing.
Yeah, that's like not in the.
Okay.
Fifth Avenue bar. Do you like? That's kind of like Butterfinger.
Well,
actually, I think I like Fifth Avenue better than Butterfinger.
I was actually gonna say 100 grand.
I like 100 grand
100
too.
grand was pretty
that
good.
has like the Rice Crisps in it.
Yes.
100 grand is good.
Oh, our Score bar. That one I didn't.
Would not buy one of those. I don't know that. I think that's an old person.
And
I'm finding that
obviously we don't even need
can.
to mention you don't eat a plain Hershey's chocolate bar, right?
No.
Maybe
with almonds or whatever would be better.
No, just any of them.
Yeah.
The milk chocolate is not good, but
I actually don't think that even tastes good.
No, it doesn't. We got a bag of them for s'mores, and I'm like, digging. I can't eat it. It's not good. Sometimes if you're really feeling it, you could say the cookies and cream one is passable. But even a whole bar of that
looks white or
whatever.
Yeah,
even a whole bar of that. We did forget Crunch though. Looking at this,
a
picture
Crunch
here.
bar. I do think Crunch is
Crunch
good.
isn't too bad.
Crunch bar is good. Kind of a weird bar how thin it is. It's
a
thin,
very thin. We didn't say Milky Way. That is one of the all-time greats to me as a kid. Milky Way was one of my favorites, and then Three Musketeers sat below Milky Way.
See I would put Milky Way, Three Musketeers, and Snickers all in this same grouping, and those are all fine. But I wouldn't care if none of those existed. I wouldn't feel like I.
Oh, I don't. I wouldn't do Milky Way anymore. It's just the other ones seem so.
Three
much
Musketeers is super light and airy, right?
Yeah.
I really don't like those. I would not want to eat one of those.
Okay, we left out one on the fancier side of things, and that'd be the Toblerone bar.
Oh, is that where you break it off?
It's like the triangle one.
Yeah,
the triangle.
That's too fancy. That wouldn't be at the convenience store and the grouping.
Not typically, no. Yeah, I think we've got most of the heavy hitters there. There's definitely other
the Milky
things,
Way
but
was probably a big one.
This is for the most part, and then there's straight up Mars bars, but we got that at the gym, right?
Oh, hey, what is a Mars bar?
I know.
Yeah, is that different than a Milky Way? Because I feel like that's a Milky Way.
I don't know. There's Mr. Good Bar. I don't really remember eating those though.
Good Bar, is that a yellow package?
Yep.
It looks like a Crunch bar, only it is like a Crunch. It's just chocolate with peanuts.
Is that what it is?
Yeah, I used to like it.
I don't know if I don't think I've ever had one.
It's just chocolate with peanuts in it. It's just a Hershey bar with peanuts in it, or a Crunch bar with peanuts instead of the crispy things. What is it? Is it Mr. Good or Mr. Goody?
I think it's Mr. Good Bar.
Mr. Good, okay.
Did you say Fifth Avenue?
Yeah, Fifth Avenue. I think Fifth. Do you remember the Fifth Avenue really is similar to the Butterfinger.
I just saw the picture here, and I don't really remember that.
The Fifth Avenue is just not quite as crunchy as it's not quite as dense and hard as the Butterfinger.
Okay.
It's really basically is a Butterfinger, only a little bit not quite as hard and dense as the Butterfinger.
Okay, I had to refine my search here, Tanner. Get a little more specific with it and put 90s candy bars in.
Now we're talking.
I have a couple more fresh ones here
Okay.
that came to mind. Do you remember the Nutrageous?
I remember the name. I can't picture
The Reese's Nutrageous. That package, does that do anything for you? I remember
Yeah.
that. I remember my brother getting those once in a while. The other one, O. Henry. I don't really remember ever eating those, but I do remember seeing those in stores.
Those feel ancient to me.
We might have got them all now.
All this talk about candy bars is actually not making me very hungry for candy bars. Though.
It's not really doing anything for me either. There was a whatchamacallit and a thingamajig.
I don't really remember thingamajig.
I don't either. Yep, I think we got them all.
What about, so we talked about M&Ms. What about sixlets? You know what sixlets are?
Yeah, they were even the smaller round one. Like they're perfectly round and really small.
But they have a little bit of a different flavor to them.
Yeah.
I would take
was kind of like chocolatey, but kind of almost like a
and you could get them in like a two,
kind of almost Whopperish.
Whopper. Do not like Whoppers.
No, we got
I would
for my son's birthday. We had a box of those somehow. I'm thinking, oh yeah, these things used to be awesome. Same thing. It's that shitty just milk chocolate that's
malted milk ball.
Yeah, they're not good.
What about Milk Dud? I would take a Milk Dud over a Whopper for sure.
Yeah, that Milk Duds.
Although talk about rip your teeth out.
Yeah, there was like I'm all of a sudden thinking of like a yellow thing. So there was some sugary yellow thing. It was kind of like almost like taffy, but it was like chocolatey. Do you know what I'm talking about?
You're saying the package is yellow?
Yeah. I can't remember what that was. I could have sworn there was like almost like a bee on it or something.
That's kind of, I think I could picture something there. I'm not sure what that is, but that's all ringing a little bit of a bell to me. Maybe it's the Mandela effect.
It could be actually. God, I'm like just picturing, it's almost like it's like a chocolatey kind of like taffy kind of bar. It might have even had a stick on it. I don't know. And I could have swore it was in a yellow package. And there's like a bee on it. Wasn't there?
Yes. A stick on it, I think, too. Oh, maybe not a stick on it, but like really, yes.
It was like really thin.
Yes.
What the hell was that thing?
Yeah, and like really, really chewy, like caramel taffy thing.
Yes.
Really to the point where you're like almost like had to
rip your
snap
teeth
it
out.
off.
Yeah.
Yeah, what is that thing
I
called?
don't know. And I typed in.
That is a thing for sure. That's not Mandela effect.
No,
that for
it's
sure.
like a honey or a milk.
Yeah.
Is it a milk bar? Is that a thing?
I remember having those too.
No, Milk Bar makes cakes, so I'm definitely not.
That someone will have to actually let us know what that is. Someone
knows
will know
what that is.
Yeah, that for sure is a thing. I haven't seen one of those for a long time, whatever that is.
Oh yeah. Bit of honey.
Okay.
Right? Is that what it is right there?
That's not exactly what I'm picturing, but maybe that's the same
and
sort of
maybe
thing.
I'm getting my things mixed around.
I'm not sure what bit of honey really is, but that also looks familiar, but that's not the exact thing I was thinking of.
Yeah, this is what I was thinking.
Okay, let me see what it looks like.
Because it's like just kind of shitty looking. It's like really pale.
Yeah.
But I think the packaging was different. I don't know. Do those look those yellowy things?
Yeah, that does look familiar to me.
Yeah,
it doesn't look good though.
Not especially. No, it's just so like tan colored.
What about a Tootsie Roll? A chocolate Tootsie Roll?
I mean, they're kind of the OG. It's Tootsie Roll has its place. The best ones are because they have the regular ones and you have the really long ones, and then you have the really thick ones.
Yep.
I feel like the thickest ones are always the softest ones.
I would never want to have more than just one of the small ones of those. Like I forgot, or like those ones that almost come in like the cardboard sleeve of like it's like a giant. Yeah,
but you could get the thicker one. Okay, have the little cardboard.
Yeah,
under
like
it.
the cardboard.
It'd be like just I don't know,
tray,
an inch or two long, and yeah. Oh, but yeah, you could get an even bigger one.
Yeah, I'm like that's a disgusting amount of Tootsie Roll.
It kind of is.
Like, can you imagine just taking a big chew out of that?
I couldn't tell you the last time I had a Tootsie Roll. What flavor even is that?
Chocolate, isn't it?
Is it?
I don't know. It does not really taste chocolatey.
It's not
I guess.
really.
Almost like it's more like it
was like almost like cola.
I was gonna say root beer chocolate or something like
cherry
that.
cola, perhaps.
Yeah. Almost like a sarsaparilla chocolate.
Yeah. All right, well,
so that wraps that up.
We got the candy,
Okay.
the 20-minute candy and cap covered.
Okay, and we did all of our advertisements.
I think so.
We might have a drop this week. We might not.
It'd be cool if we
know
did.
Yet. So just stay tuned to our Instagram and our Discord and become a supporting member if you're not already. And Tommy, where do they find you?
You can find me at Tomahawk_D.
You can follow me at Tanner_Baird, but nobody cares about that. Just make sure to follow Massenomics at Massenomics.
See ya.